Now we should have some sound. Let me know if that is all good. I'm sure that will be fine now. It's alright. I'm playing so much with this stream over the last day or so, but Dal, let me know if they've got sound in there. Bingo! Beautiful. Cheek is in as well. So, as you can see, for this rather epic event, we are at the rather, well, it's quite a dangerous track, to be honest. We're at Bathurst, or Mount Panorama, as others like to call it, for this 8 hours endurance race. And why are we doing this 8 hours endurance race, you may ask? Well, quite simply, this is the Simgrid VCO Road to World Cup. And there's a lot up for grabs. So every year there's a sort of large events that I put on, and we know this one. It looked like he was miming. I was miming. It was just to make you all see if you were actually watching, yeah, which is all good. But yeah, so it's a rather large event, as you all know. The top 3 in this particular event will secure seats in the final with I believe it's around about $10,000 prize pot. So it's not to be sniffed at. And at FRL, obviously we are one of, if not the biggest community on Simgrid. We were offered a number of seats in the race. Obviously you guys are just looking at our beautiful livery cars there. But yeah, it's we decided not to do that. We do have people in this event, which we'll run through shortly. But we offered to host it, and there's been so much work going on in the background. It's been absolutely crazy. So today we're going to have an awesome event. We're in free practice at the moment, as you can see, and when free practice finishes, I believe we're going to have I think it's 30-minute qualifying session. Someone will no doubt correct me if I'm wrong on that front, and then obviously we will get into the 8-hour endurance race. Now last week, you may remember, we did a 24-hour endurance race within FRL, which went down. It was absolutely amazing. We had 50 cars start, and I think there was 50 teams, 50 teams start, and I believe that 42 of those actually finished the 24-hour event, which was it was a great thing to be part of. So no doubt this will be just as good. Format for today, for those of you that haven't ever watched any of our broadcasts before, I am COMMS by COOPS, do most of the broadcasting and comms for FRL, and we've been having a chat with all the admin guys this morning, and there are some hoarse voices out there, let's put it that way, but we're all absolutely really looking forward to this one. We will of course have a look at the track in more depth. We always like to do a walkthrough of the track so that you, the viewers, can get to understand a bit more. 25 minutes qualifying, thank you very much, so that you, the viewers, can understand exactly what the drivers are going through and what they've got to potentially deal with at this track. And then when we get into qualifying, we will do a full real-time lap guide. We'll pick one of the front runners that are going rather quickly. We'll see if I can keep up with them. And that is what we're going to do. So, thank you everyone that is in the live chat at the moment. It's great to see you all. And we'll have a little look then. Now, disclaimer, everyone, there are a few cars. I did make a note of them earlier on. I think there's 6 cars that their liveries haven't loaded for whatever reason. Obviously, we use Awesome Sim Racing, but all the others have loaded up. So, apologies for that. Maybe something in the file that hasn't been changed, or I don't know, maybe the loading process. But we will push on anyway. Currently, in the actual, we've got 37 that are in at the moment, and this guy. Right, now, Christian Romano, yeah, in the number 40 Mercedes. We know him as Chromadex, Black Ops cars. That's what they are, Del. Team Carbon, that's what I like to call them. So this is Chromadex. He also does some commentaries. You'll see him, he'll be on the show later on today as well. And he wasn't very nice to me in the 24 hours, so I'm going to just keep that in mind. Not that I'm holding a grudge, but hey, you know, what goes around comes around, so let's keep an eye on him and give him some commentator love. But we do have a lot of very, very good drivers in. Everyone had, I believe, until 8 AM. The time was extended to complete their hot stint, which was 5 clean laps. And we do have some sort of late arrivals to the party. Let's just have a quick run through. Whilst you're watching this, let me run through the teams that we do have in with us today, just so that we all know. So we've got the Rolling Goats, and we know them. They won the 24 hours. They're really, really quick. That's Julien Moore, Tommy Villan, and Kevin Chartier. They're running in the Honda. We've got WPS Racing Team, and I've got Maximilian Shea, Finn Lindeshield, and Niklas Arndt. If I pronounce any of the names incorrectly, then I do apologise. Jan's in the live chat. Good morning, Jan. Hope you're well and smiley. Rolling Goat second team are in. That's Bert Lynn and Nazir Al Hadid. Also very, very quick last week at the 24 Hours of Spa. Cracked Racing, BOP Tourism. They're also in with us. That's Jamie Nuttall and Guillaume Hamling. Raglioli Racing 11 are with us this evening. I normally do this at night. This morning in the Mercedes, that's Marcel Fuzzy, Emmanuel Cardinal, and Roberto Ricci. Crazy Fly Racing Team, which is the Team Rocket guys, they're in the BMW, and that is Daniel Seregin and Nikita. I'm going to leave it at Nikita on that one. Denis and Denis Strenilov are in that team. TF Racing in the BMW. We've got Gerardis, Chodakis, and Chaldikis. That sounds. I'm not going to say what it is. But yeah, there we go. Future Team Racing are also with us in the Mercedes. That's Dan Berg, Tyson Robbs, Ethan Smith, and Jurian Visser are in that team. Advisor Racing Team are in the Porsche. Jan Barth, Tom Curtin, and Fabian Karner. Blooming heck, Jan, you're just chucking Fabian into everything, aren't you, at the moment, which is really cool to see. Strike Force Racing in the BMW. We've got Mikhail Ksisi, Jakub Erb, David Davida, and Thomas Zawolski. And then we've got Team Shazoo GT Omega in the McLaren. That's Hodiki De Campo and Zouch. Mattia De Campo is a very swift driver. Formula Racing Team in the Vantage, Chris Vining and John Beaton. Good luck to those guys as well. Regularly Racing Mass are in with a BMW. That's Fazekas, Bauman, and Campanella. So good luck to those. Virtual Drivers by TX3. Also in a BMW, that's Vedi, Bouquet, and Raffia. And then we've got SPQ Racing Team, also in a BMW, which is Carlino, Giacomelli, and Sinotti. Then we've got Dal. Shh. So it's a secret, this one, which is evidently Dalkin. So that's Darren King and Marek Schintz in the BMW. Good luck to those two. Alphaspot.com in the Lamborghini. That's Becker and Lindhorst. Then we've got West Competition Racing, BMW, Sebastian Apostle, Jack Alexander, and Joshua Allen. I know Apostle, he is a quick driver, but he's probably presenting Team Lapped. Wow, if that's what it is in the live chat. Geeks Energy Sim Racing, BMW, Muscat Vela, and Yokulson. And then Team Belas Esports from the Ukraine. We've got Koroshavin, Romanenko, and Ole Pitzik. Some quick drivers in there as well. Virtual Drivers by TX3, 334 in the BMW. Pogatel, Pelicori, and Luis Alexander. Visceral Esports by Aztec Sim Sports are in the Mercedes, and that's Jonathan Riley and Vanko Dimitriov. FRL Racing Team Slower, we've got Alan Brown and Christopher Gedman, our very own chaps in there. Slow Racing Team, we've got Jelenko, Masin, and Zapansic. And then we've got another one from them actually in the Honda. We've got Denis Medvesek, Jura Visic, and Dario Bak. Again, if I am not pronouncing these correctly, I do apologise. It's rather early. Flat Out SR is in the BMW is Mattia Macchi, Seglia and Velazzi, and then Tatum Racing we've got in the BMW, that's Savini and Santoro. Formula Racing Team Italian Mafia, we've got Dipolito and Keddy, although Keddy's having some massive issues this morning. Unfortunately, with his PC and the wheel and updates and all these bits, so he's frantically working to try and get that back on the spot at the moment. GTWR Esports in the BMW, we've got Romagnoli, Benetti, and Perella. The Italian Job Team 2, which is Bergio, Pina Antonio, and Gobato, and then the Italian Job Team 3, Minelli, Guinieri, and Lezzi. The Like and Subscribe team. What a name. We've got Soldatov and Gorodnikov. Paul Sim Sports in the BMW. We have got Fisher, Watson, and Florian. And then Absolute Sim Racing in their Mercedes. We've got Paulik, Nateman, and Kula. Sorry, obviously we need to have a little sip of coffee there. Eclipse Racing Esports in the Mercedes. We've got Christian Romano, we've got Christoph Stachetti and Milton Tomlinson Dennis. We know he's rapid, for sure. FNR Team 24, we've got Philippi and we've got Babagello and Lomi. And then we've got SPA Racing in the Mercedes, which is Venik and Zurkovic. And Crazy File Racing Team in the BMW, we've got Konstantin Volkov, rapid driver, and Sergey Mace. Phew! That took 48 hours to do that. So they are your registered teams. Let me just have a quick look at the live chat. I'm going to make sure that everyone gets some love. That's in there. So Jan's having a good chat in there. World's Slowest Sim Racer. Okay, they're in as well. Dow, BMW, Honda, Merckfest. Yeah, it is indeed. There's a lot of beavers in there. And amazing. What's up, Coops? Mexican way for the team. Of course. Why not? Why not indeed? Right, so let's change who we're having a look at. We can see. So currently, the quickest time that we've got on the board is by Niklas, and that's a 1:59.656. Closest to him is Jonathan Riley, who we're having a look at the moment, who's in the 46 Mercedes, and he is around just under 2/10 off the pace. Savini's currently third, Shins Dukrop, by Jelenko, Apostle Marchi, and who's that one? And Igor. There's your top 10 currently. So what are we expecting from this? Well, how long have we got left on this? We've got 3 minutes left. Let's have a little quick look around the track, shall we? Let's have a little look around the track. Oh, we will when I find it. Okay, so Bathurst, she is a challenging one, isn't she? We've got two very long straights, and in between those straights we've got really technical sections. Okay, so as we come from the start finish line and we go into House Corner, it's really important to get the exit right on there. You've got this long mountain straight, as you can see at the moment in sector 1. Then we go up through Quarry and then into the cut-in, and then as we're going up the mountain, it's going to be really important in terms of how we balance the car. You're not going to get many manoeuvres up over the hill and then back down the hill as we go down through Skyline and then through the Dipper and the S's, back through Forest Elbow, and then all the way down the Conrod Straight. And this is where people are going to be able to set themselves up for a move down into the Chase. Obviously that's not Hanger Straight. And then back through Murray's and onto the start-finish line. So there's a lot for people to take on. There's a lot of things that people are going to need to think about. There are, thankfully, we do have a couple of areas on the track where you can have a little bit of a respite, which we will see as we get into qualifying. We'll run through all of that in depth when we do our lap guides. So everyone's been able to practice for quite some time. Obviously, this event was announced a few weeks ago now. And we have had a lot of people putting in the appropriate lap times, which is fantastic. I need to check one little thing as we're just moving through this. Okay. Good. Right. Okay, anyone that is watching currently, good morning. Thank you. Thank you for coming to support your teammates. Thank you for coming to support everyone else. Keno is in. Good morning. Morning to you, sir. And I wonder how many of you are sat there with a nice cup of coffee at the moment thinking, that's a bit early. I'm sure there's plenty of you doing that, but you can obviously keep up to date with all the stuff that goes on within Formula Racing League via the website, which is formularacinleague.co.uk. Evidently, you will be aware that we run multiple championships across the week on PC and on PS5 and PS4. Recently we did a sort of a partnership amalgamation with SOP, just to be able to sort of bring all of the console drivers together, and a lot of the PC guys are getting involved as well now, which is again always great to see. But you can, as I say, check that out at the website, and that is cool. If you are watching on the Twitch channel, please drop a follow and get involved on the live chat. Obviously, if you're watching on my YouTube channel, COMMS by Coops, drop a like, maybe consider a sub, with them both going out at the same time, and obviously we've got all communications and chats all in the same place, so we won't miss anything. So that's all you guys need to do this morning. So free practice is currently finished. Okay, so Dell's just sending out some orders there on what we need to do. So qualifying has started. Remember, it's a 25-minute session. So what are we going to do? We're going to go and find first one out of the bag. Now we've been through, we've been through the stats. We've been through, you know, we've had a look around the track a bit more. We can now start to really concentrate on the drive-in. Wow, Smiley, I get it. As long as people are pressing like buttons and things like that, that's all that matters. I'll always respond to comments, you know that. So we're currently out with Marcel Fuzzy in the number 11. So, obviously, not quite full team carbon. I think that is actually a livery. I think we want to look dangerous there. Right. Anyway, I will watch Dalkey. I'm going to watch everybody, Chris. Yeah, but we know what we like to do in qualifying to start with. So we're on board with Marcel at the moment. You can see on your screens information. Right, let me just change that actually. Let's go quali personal best Delta. Okay, so on your screens, what you can see, obviously, you can see the driver, you can see their number, you can see what vehicle they're in. Ignore the gaps to the next person at the moment. That's mainly used for in the race. And then obviously we've got that boring grey column, which is all zeros at the moment. That is evidently going to tell us if they are up or down on their previous deltas for their qualifying. So quite important, so we can all see who's moving, who's shaking, and what is actually going on, and give us and you more of an idea of who's likely to jump up on the starting line there. So, as we come into Murray's to start our first flying lap, let's have a little look at this one in the Mercedes then. So, across the start finish line we go. Really important, this left-hander. We're looking just as the change on the balls there. Bang on the brakes now, down into second, get it tucked in, squeeze on that throttle. Again, I said it's really important to make sure you set yourself up for the exit. We've got this long mountain straight now. Nothing to do here. This is the chance where everyone's going to be thinking about tweaking certain things, maybe playing with traction control and brake bias as we come down into the quarry. So on the brakes, down into second gear. Always doing third in the Merc, which is fair enough. Use all the curb on the left-hand side, then push across to the right. There's a little gap in the wall here. That's where we're going to straighten the car up. Then we pause and hard on those brakes, down into second. Let the camber of the hill actually pull you round so you can keep the pace on there, and then keep it tight to the wall on the right. Swing out to the left where the tree is. There's your turning point. Should be flat through here, and then we are full throttle all the way through there, across to the right-hand side. Get it over. You should lift tiny. No lift. Good setup then on that car. Over the top of the hill. Swing it in. No lift here potentially as well, and then we're getting towards the downhill section. So under the bridge, no brakes. Now down into third, get the car brake down into second, get it tucked in, and then off. And we're using the throttle all the time here to balance the car. As soon as you feel a grip up on that dip, then we're full on the throttle. Drain on the left, on the right hand side. Sorry, that's your braking point to come off the throttle, and then as you see the second part of the wall that sticks out there, that is your point to get back onto the accelerator through off Forest Elbow, and then we're all the way down the Conrod straight. So it's time to breathe. Yeah, nothing else to do here again. Maybe you're in a position where you're looking to attack somebody, or you are defending at this stage. In towards the chase, use the asphalt on the left, swing it to the right, about 120 metres on the brakes, down into second, trail in. Now we're going to squeeze the throttle on, use a little bit of that curve on the right hand side, not too much. Swing it over to the left, under the bridge. And again, we're looking for around 75 metres here on those brakes, down into second, get the car tucked in, squeeze on that throttle early, get the steering straightened up, and there you go. There's your first lap, which is a 2 minutes flat. So interesting, Sebastian Apostel, well, he decides he's going to go a bit quicker than that, as does Marek Schintz. So again, the track is going to be evolving. Yeah, and when people talk about that, what do they mean? Well, obviously the more... Oh, thank you for the flash. Yes, you're live. You're very welcome. So Marek Schintz is a 2 minutes 152. Sebastian Apostel is 2 minutes 247, and then Savani is currently in third with a, well, he's not, is he? Jonathan Riley. Wow, okay. Jonathan Riley thinks these 2 minute jobbies are a bit boring. Let's bang it into the 159s, which he does indeed. Jan says Fabian Kyle make qualifying and the race start on his new Logitech G29. Wow. Brilliant, Jan. Thanks for letting me know that. And Will Slowest Race says, on the straights, it's time to think about what the hell you're doing. 100%. And it's only 8 hours worth. It's only 8 hours worth. And what could possibly go wrong? There's never any incidents at Bathurst. Ever. So again, I'm hoping we get a clean first lap. Yeah, so as you can see on your screens at the moment, everybody's pretty much green. Again, track evolution. So what do we mean by that? Well, evidently we've got a number of cars out on track. We're all putting rubber down, And so that's going to help the track in terms of its grip level. We have 19 degrees ambient, 25 on track at the moment, so not too bad. Actually, let's see what it's like to be behind someone coming down the mountain. Well, especially if someone's got to get out of shape, and that is the danger. You just saw that there. What great timing. That is the danger, yeah, of when we're doing this, because if there are any incidents on the mountain, what's the weather forecast looking like? Hold on a minute. Cloudy. I don't know. Amazing. I mean, I'm not the weatherman. They won't let me do that bit either, because if it was me, it would be a lot of water. Comes on Coop's early morning. It is a special occasion, Mr. Young. Thank you very much. It is 10:06 here in the UK. And, well, thanks for tuning in. You know what to do. Has your entourage left yet, or are you still entertaining? That would be my good man. Stephen Young is my teammate, currently residing out in Abu Dhabi. And, yeah, he always drops in to give me some abuse here and there. So Jonathan Ryder, as we're watching at the moment, he's not up on that lap. So he didn't improve, but he has done a 1:49.840. Shouldn't still in a second. What we were saying about coming down the mountain there is, if there's any incidents on there whatsoever, there is no room there. If it goes wrong there, everybody's in trouble. We did a 2-hour endurance race there recently, and Stephen Young will remember this. It will be dry but cloudy. That's all right, Chris, and you're still entertaining. Good man, good man. Yeah, so we did a 2-hour endurance race there fairly recently, and there were issues, and there was one issue, and it was two teammates actually. I don't know, Lock and Load won't thank me for this, but Lock and Load, I think it was either Chris Bizzock or Sean Freeman. They touched each other, shall we say, and there was then a 20-car pile-up. So it can happen. Obviously, we've got very, very good drivers out here. So we'll see if they can keep their powder dry. It is 8 hours after all, ladies and gents. You're not going to win anything on lap 1 here, but you can lose a lot. And given what's at stake, remember the top 3 in this event will qualify for a seat at the final for the Simgrid VCO World Cup final with that $10,000 prize pot. So caution is probably the way to go. Fast caution. Rain on the mountain would cause havoc. It would. But I think anything on the mountain causes havoc, to be honest with you. From all the times I've managed to watch on here. So Marek pulls over. Dario, he pulls over as well. Let's have a look at Igor. Right, so we want to find someone who's really up on their time at the moment. So Savini's half a second up. So let's have a look at Savini. Maybe Savini's got himself some clean air there. In the 26 BMW, crosses the timing charts. Well, he did well with that, didn't he? So he goes potentially P2. And we've got 16.5 minutes left of this qualifying session. So it's good enough. It allows people to get some laps in. It allows them to go and then make some setup changes or tyre temp changes or change the balance of the car and get this qualifying session done. It is an important one. It is an important one indeed. Florian goes P3. As you can see, it's getting pretty busy coming out of the pit lane, so I'm going to let's take a different view of this. Let's have a look. Let's have a look from our splitter cam, shall we, as we go into quarry. Again, it's going to give us an idea just of the change of direction, give you an idea of how the car is balanced as well. You'll be able to sense any body roll on those cars. So up through the cut-in on the brakes, down into second, again, get it squeezed on. We've got to keep tight to that wall on the right, drift out towards the tree. That's your turning point, remember. Should be flat through here. There was a tiny, tiny lift there, but that's okay. Drift, go towards the middle of the track here. No lift. Oh, it's a tiny lift. So generally speaking, what I've found on Bathurst, if your car is able to go through that top section flat, that's a very good sign that your setup is extremely well balanced. If you're having to do a tiny lift, I mean, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. But if you're having to do a tiny lift on there, that would generally mean that you're having to be cautious, and you are going to lose. You are going to lose that time. So down through Conrad up towards the chase. Jonathan Riley still. Is actually Jonathan's not the only man actually in the 59s at the moment. So Daniel Savini with his previous lap also goes into the 59s with a 59.947. Florian in third place is, what is he, 600ths behind. Then we've got Schintz, who's a further 600ths behind. And then Dario back in fifth is only 3,000ths of the time of Mario in the pits. In the pits he comes. So there we go. That's what we're working with at the moment, ladies and gents. 14 minutes left of qualifying. You can see the times that are coming up on your screens at the moment. There's Dario. Is he out on a decent lap? He's currently a 10th up. Let's watch Dario and let's have a look at him in the Honda. Now, the Honda's been getting a lot of love recently, and I mean a lot of love. It's obviously with new, new updates on the game, new versions. Sorry, simulator. New versions of the simulator. Changes sort of BOP, and some cars get more performance, and some cars, have some performance taken away. Previously, it was all about the M4, wasn't it? But it certainly seems very recently that the Honda is a car of choice, most certainly. It's easy to get through their flat. It's not easy to get through their flat, but also be fast on the straights, and you don't want to be a sitting duck on the chase. That's what I was saying, Chris. Just for everybody's information, so obviously I'm going to be with you initially today. I would have done the whole thing, but I do have another charity endurance race later on today. So I don't know if my voice is going to last all day, but I'm going to be with you guys around about 12:15-ish, and then I'll be replaced by James, and then Christian will come in for the last couple of hours as well. So you will get a full, you're going to get comms and a full broadcast throughout the whole event, which is great. That's what we want you guys to all enjoy. And then when this one's finished, if you want to come and check out what's going on with me later on, we're doing a 6-hour race for Alex charity event at Silverstone. That kicks off at 3 p.m. and for qualifying, so that will run through till about 10 p.m. So always lots going on. Come on, the FRL teams. Well, actually, once we've finished with Dario, Woody, I'll go and we'll have a little look. We'll have a little look. You can see there's one behind at the moment. So let's see if Dario is going to improve on that lap time currently. No, he's not. Right, let's move down the grid. Let's have a look at some of these awesome liveries that we've got here. So Igor and the 911 BMW is just coming out the pit lane at the moment. Currently sat in P6 with a 2 minutes 2:05. Just so that you guys know, just so that you know. So your top 25 are all. Oh, let's take the top two out because they're in the 59s, aren't they? So take the top two away. So from P3 to P25, they're all a 2 minute flat. It's ridiculous. That is absolutely crazy. That's going to be some. I don't think I've ever seen that many individuals all within the set. That's bonkers. 2 minute 9. Okay, so 9/10 covering those drivers. Absolutely crazy. So Igor's in 6th place, as you can see there. Dominic Koroshavin in the 141 BMW is currently in provisional P7. Fabian's driving. Be kind to me later, please. I will do my best, Kino. I did notice you're driving today, which I'm very happy about. Rizzo's P36. I'll get to him. Don't worry. We've got Tyson there. No, so Michel Pereira has put that BMW, the 164, excuse me, into provisional P6, and then evidently thrown it into the pits. Oh, we've got a Predator livery on that. Very nice indeed. We did Koroshovin. Tyson Robbs is currently at P9, rocking out the Team Carbon look there. Sebastian has also got Team Carbon on as well, and I know because I do comms for ERS on a Wednesday, and I know Sebastian has lots of liveries, lots of liveries. So I'm not sure why he hasn't managed to get that one up. Matteo Marchi is currently in P11 there, also running Team Carbon. And Nicholas and Arndt in the 21 Honda, there we go, in P12 currently. Jelenko even in the 56 Honda. obviously teammates there in P13, and then Marcel Fuzzy in the number 11 BMW, that Mercedes, that also looks like it's, well, I say Team Carbon, we've got some yellow stripes on there, so maybe not. Manos Garadis in the 41 BMW, there we go, running an all-white livery there. You're not going to miss him day or night, I suppose. Diego Carlino, let's switch to Diego, another BMW in the 201, currently on track at the moment, there we go. Next Level Racing on his livery, that's pretty cool. And then Christoph Stachecki, I'll get there eventually. There's so many new names. I love it when people do that to me. In the 40, I believe that is Chromodex's team. So we need to keep an eye on those guys. Maximilian Vedi is currently in P19 in his 333 BMW. So nice black and green livery there. Florian Becker in the 666. That I know that Lambo doesn't have a livery on it for a fact. Bertin in 21st, another Honda. So we do have a livery on that one, which is good. Seragin currently in 22nd place, BMW 149. And then, well, you're not going to miss that, are you? Hamling in the 14 Lamborghini. Wow. You're definitely not missing that one. If anybody crashes into that guy, there's an issue. Filippi is currently running in 24th position. In the Ferrari, we have not got many Ferraris actually today. We just pulled over down by Forest Elbow, so may have been a slight tap on the wall potentially, or that lap is just generally finished. 25th, we've got Moore in the 368 Honda. Fazekas, Barnabas Fazekas, quick driver is Fazekas, I know him well, in the 111 BMW again, not going to miss that livery, which is all good. Konstantin Volkov in the BMW in the 949, again, extremely quick driver. Niklas in the 21 has had a nightmare with traffic in the first qualifying run. Let's see how far he can get up the order. Indeed, Vincent, let's see. We will see. It will all shake itself out, no doubt at all. So we did Fazekas, Ron Volkov. Paulik there is yellow flagged in his. Well, has that gone for the standard sort of crazy panda one? No, we do have a slight change on that livery, which is all cool. That's 29th. Venik is in 30th position. Dipolito, there we go. First FRL liveried car there in the McLaren 737. That's Kelly's boys. How long's the race, Coops? This is the World Cup thing. Yes, it is, Lurchies. It's an 8-hour endurance race, my friend. And we're currently in qualifying. We've got 6.5, just over minutes left. I'm just giving everybody a little bit of airtime in terms of their liveries and who's out at the moment doing their laps. So that was Dipolito in 31st. 30 seconds is Mika Sici, potentially. Chris Vining's running 33rd in the other FRL Aston Martin in the number 69, as you can see there. Alan Brown, another entry for Formula Racing League, is in the 792 in his Aston, so he's in 34th, that's not too bad. Fabian Carna, that's in Jan's team in the Porsche, he's currently in 35th place. So we'll see how those boys get on today. And then Gobato is in 36th, another Porsche, so it's good. We've got a couple of Porsches in. And then Matteo Minelli is bringing up the rear at the moment in the Mercedes, the 181, in 37th place. So again, that was a very good point that was just made on the live chat. Traffic is evidently going to be an issue. We'd said that in the lap guide. You know, there's not a lot of space in terms of being able to make those overtaking manoeuvres, especially if you get stuck behind somebody, either going up or down the mountain. You've got to be patient. It really doesn't matter how quick you are. You have to be patient. So we'll see. We shall see. Back with our current P1 sitter, Jonathan Riley, in the 46. Bring that up. Okay, so if I keep that available, just 1 second. You know I've got about 5 million different screens going on here to try and give all the information. So that's Visceral Esports by Asatec Sim Sports. That's the team at the moment that are currently running in P1. They have a Canadian flag on there as well, which is interesting. 792. I may not have been allowed to race, but my number got on there. There you go. Famous in all types of different ways, Chris. But yeah, interesting stuff. It's going to be, I think it's going to be absolutely smashing at 4 minutes 40 left. You can see Jonathan is slightly up on his lap. In terms of where everybody else is, we've got a third that is also in the 59s now. Nicholas Arndt has also done a 59. That's a 59.632. That's pretty close as well. So 3 of them in the 59s, and then we've got literally pretty much everyone else is in the 2 minutes flat. I don't know, anyone watching this will be rather impressed. So you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only 9 runners at the back of the grid so far that are not in the 2 minutes flat zone. Yeah, we've got Paulik in 29th at 2:01.1, and obviously we move down from there. Slowest time at the moment is a 2:05. But everybody else, the main pack of the field are all in the 2 minutes flat, which is absolutely amazing to see. So Jan is up, Jonathan's up on his lap. Nicholas, I was going to say, is also up on his lap. Currently both just losing a little bit of time there as they're coming up towards Quarry. Dario's 10th and a bit up on his lap, so where would that put him? Well, that would put him in the 59, so that could be an interesting one. Let's keep an eye on Dario, see what he can produce in his Honda. And Kenny's in the live chat. Hello, buddy. Hope you're well. Did you manage to get all your problems fixed? Need to see you on track today. Florian is also up on his lap in 4th place, as we can see that Dario's had to back out of that. He's now, I say back out, he's now 10th down, but evidently there's more things going on with that. And we've got Daniel Savini in 3rd place. He's currently a couple of thousandths up on his lap as Riley comes into the pit. So we've got, what is he, he's losing time down there though, Savini. I was going to say he was half a tenth up, and if he made that half a tenth, that would have put him, well, would have kept him in P3, but it would have helped that gap. So movers and shakers further down the field, everybody. And in terms of tyre sets, by the way, I think there's 50 tyre sets that people can use. So it's not like we're not trying to restrict people in terms of their tyre sets. They've got 50, which should be more than enough to get qualifying done, and an 8-hour race. I believe we're also running 65-minute stints, what we normally run for the drivers. That's kind of normal what we do here, as we're probably into, well, guys coming across the line now. The ones who are watching, they may get another lap in after this one. So there's only 2 minutes 4 seconds left of qualifying, so we're going to see how this all pans out. See what it looks like from here as they wind their way through the mountain. So who's up there? So again, Davini is 10th up on his time, and Dario's up on his time as well. So we will. It's very difficult, I have to say. You know, where it's not like the level of driver in here. Yeah, as you can see from the timings, it's that close. They're all that good. Oh dear, and Dario was. I did say he was pushing. He was up on his time, but he's pushed a little bit too hard. Evidently, sort of last qualifying lap, he's just absolutely going for it. Let's just hope he doesn't collect anybody else down there, and he does. And there's the Lambo. That's going to cause massive issues now with other people coming down the hill. So I'm assuming we've had a port to pit there. So Jonathan Riley at this stage looks pretty safe in that provisional pole position there. Well, Nicholas is in the pit, so he's not going to be doing anything else. Daniel Savini is still out on track. He's again half. Now he's just lost that time. I was going to say, now he's gaining some again, so it's very difficult. As I say, with them being that consistent at the moment, I don't know, Chris. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I think if it happens there, I think that should be what you do, right? Save anybody else absolutely smashing into you. Yeah. I know. Gotta love that Lambo. Sure, we're going to keep an eye on her during the race, and everybody else, of course. So Riley's up on his current lap, so qualifying is coming to a head. And we're going to have everybody will be able to complete the laps that they are currently on, unless they get across the line within the next 8 seconds. We do have some people coming across the line. I believe 354, they're not going to make it. No, qualifying's finished for them, so that will be their last lap time. So we are on the final run to set the grid for this 8 hours Simgrid VCO FRL World Cup Qualifying event. And Jonathan's sitting pretty at the moment with a 1:59.562. Nicholas is in the pits. He's not going to challenge that pole position. And Daniel Savini again looks like he wants to challenge. He's 7/10 up at the moment. Sorry, 700ths up at the moment. 7/10 would be absolutely ridiculous, wouldn't it? Igor in 9th position is currently up on his lap time as well as Apostle is as well. Who's in 13th position there? So Uros Yelenko is quarter of a second up at this stage. That could be quite interesting. So if he does that, that will put him a 2.0. That would put him potentially P4 if he can continue. He's losing time now though. If he can continue that. So Daniel Savini is, wow, massively up. He's quarter of a second up on his lap. This will put him P2. And he lost some time coming out the last corner there. So he ends up holding P3 with a 59.780. Florian is in the pits. So there's your P4. Shintz is in P5. And then we've got Dario, who is P6, as everyone's just coming through. A lot of letters there, yes indeed, as they're just coming through to finish their lap times. And then we'll give you a full rundown of the grid before we get started. So qualifying, 25 minutes. That was, apart from that one incident there, that was a very clean session. But we'll have to see. So we'll be able to see all the team members as well, who's starting and who is not. So Marek Shintz, okay, that's in Dow's team, so he's starting the race. Where did he qualify? In 5th place, okay. Right, session has ended, so let me come away from that. And let's give you the grid. So, 8 hours of Bathurst coming up, ladies and gents. Here is your grid, and of course, we're going to start this one in the middle of the night, because like the full 12-hour event, it does start in the middle of the night. The poll time was a 59.5. Pipoluzzo, 59.5 was the poll time. So Jonathan Riley is in P1. Maximilian Shea is going to start in P2. Daniel Savini in P3. Florian Duvkop in 4th. Darren King is actually going to start the race in P5. Dario Bach P6. Mikhail Romagnoli in 7th. Mattia Macchi in 8th. Konstantin Soldatov is going to be 9th. And then Sebastian Apostel is going to start in 10th place. Let's do that. Let's do that. So we get a different view on that. Apostel is going to start in 10th place. Then in 11th, we've got Kurashevin in 12th. Berg's going to start there. Yelenko is going to start in 13th. Kongratel is going to start in 14th. Fuzzy 15th. Gerardis in 16th. Hadke, I nearly got that right. He's got to be 17th position. 18th is Vedi, 19th will be Christian Romano, not back, Chromadex. Daniel Serigin in 20th position. In 21st, we've got Barnabas Fazekas. Diego Carlino is going to start 22nd. Florian Becker in 23rd. Bertin in 24th. And Filippi is going to start 25th. Jamie Nuttall, 26th. Guillaume Moore is going to start 27th. Konstantin Volkov, 28th. Alexander Bennett will start 29th. Dipolito, Formula Racing League, one of our guys, is going to start in 30th position. Chris Vinen, another one of our guys, in 31st. Mika City is going to start in 32nd. Alan Brown, 33rd, also Formula Racing League. Matteo Manelli, 34th. And Giorgio Bergio in 35th. Now, we did have 37 in qualifying, so we've lost 2, unfortunately. Krista's a 51.9. Well, you will remember from that qualifying session, the top 3 were in the 59s, and then literally everybody down to 29th position was all 2 minutes 00, and they're all a couple of tenths between them. So this is going to be ridiculously close. So everybody, take your time. Yeah, I know there's a place at the final up for grabs for the top 3 teams. 30 seconds until we get the formation lap underway, and then we'll get cracking. So you'll see, evidently, track and ambient temperatures have dropped significantly. It's now 12 and 12.
20 seconds.
That's going to make a difference. Right. Ah, thank you. It's actually let me get involved. Okay, so let's get back over to this bit. So we'll put the nationalities on there. Again, easy peasy for you guys. We've got car numbers, what they're driving. We'll have the race gaps in there, in that section that is currently spare. And then we've got the nationality of the drivers. We've got a bit of flashing going on there, which is all good. They're just about to get the formation lap underway full formation lap, of course. Again, I know you guys don't need this. A 2:51.9. Wow, that is the world's slowest sim racer. Joking. Right, so what are we, 10:30 in the morning here in terms of real time. I think it's 4 a.m. on track for these guys. What are we going to be able to see? Not much, because it's very, very dark. So it's always an interesting one to do the commentary on when it is this dark. I have to find myself some secret camera angles to be able to bring you guys the best action that we can. So Jonathan at the front there, he's just going to be thinking to himself, I really need to get away clean. I just need to make sure I can get the first lap, keep the pressure behind me, and hope everybody else manages to, well, get their braking points correct and not take me out, really. Because putting in a performance like that, in terms of qualifying, he has earned the right. I would suggest they've all earned the right to get through the first lap cleanly. But then we know what these racing drivers are like. You know, their egos are as big as their talent, aren't they? And they all want to make up places. Which I don't blame them. We'll have to see what happens. I still cannot believe I did 2 stints in 1,000 kilometers. Well, that's very, very, very good. But did you do it on an empty track? No, I'm joking. Did you set up a free... That's what I would do. Set up a free practice track. And then do like a world record event. Ooh, I better keep that under my hat. No, full track. Good. Good, mate. It's really impressive. Yeah, so what's the point in doing a full formation lap? I know people sort of look at that. If you're not involved in racing, you're just online supporting someone. We've got 2 that's still in the pits. Who's in the pits still? 5. 1 second, let me just check this out. So, Alexander Paulik's still in the pits, and Jan Bart's in the pits as well. So they didn't manage to get out on time. Lap 1 of Bathurst Mountain Scary Movie. 100%, and it's dark. I mean, the only thing missing is some precipitation, and that would make it rather treacherous, wouldn't it? As they're coming downhill. Yeah, but obviously the point of them doing this, it allows them to get the heat cycles through the brakes, through the tyres, try and get those tyres in the optimum operating window in terms of pressures and temperatures, because they're going to need it. They certainly are going to need it. Remember, we said in free practice and in qualifying, any mistakes up and down the mountain at the start, when you've got all these drivers together that are all evidently very, very highly skilled, is going to cause issues. Talk of disconnects in the server. Oh dear. Let me see. I've still got, well, I've got 37 back in, so it looks like Jan and Paulik probably did disconnect there, which is unfortunate. But hey, it might not be a bad thing. You've got 8 hours. You shouldn't really be getting into a crash if you're starting from the pit lane. Hopefully. So we'll have to see. Right. Now they're all going to form up 2 by 2, as you can see, coming across, coming down the Conrod Straight. Obviously this will be the slowest they're doing that today. It's nice to see. Nice to see everybody observing the formation lap correctly. Again, anyone watching on the Twitch channel, Formula Racing TV, please drop a follow if you haven't already. And if you're watching across on my YouTube channel, COMMS by COMMS, be amazing if you could drop a like. It's going to be a long event, and consider a sub. If you do, you could maybe move that little number up on your screen. I don't know. Right, we're getting ready. 8 hours to go. 8 hours to go. I agree, world's slowest sim racer. Starting from the back may be an advantage. Chris says, good luck everyone. Good luck to the FRL teams. Good luck to Jan's team. Good luck to Chromodex's team. Yeah, well, I concur. I think good luck to everybody, actually. And, yeah, here we go. So, down into Murray's Corner. It's about to get spicy, ladies and gents. This is the Formula Racing League Simgrid VXO Road to World Cup Qualifier. 8 hours of Bathurst. And we are, well, they're waiting at the moment. They're going to go green any second now. Come on, boys and girls. Green, green, green. We are off. We are go. 8 hours worth of racing coming up. And Riley gets himself a decent start there. Manages to get through that first corner. No issues for him. Let's move back down the grid a little bit. As you can see, I think that's Dowkin already putting some pressure on. No, it's Marek Schintz, so it is Dowkin's teammate. They're already putting pressure on at the moment, so this is the first run down mountain. Again, being nice and careful through there. As Dario seems to have made a move, and you can see they're going too wide through the quarry. Again, you're going to have to bear with the lack of light as they're almost going 3 wide into the cut in there. That's probably something that we don't want to do too often. Okay, everybody at the moment seems to be filing through nicely. Diego Polino's made a move there. It looks like he's trying to put another move on as well. Be careful, that would look like a little dab on the wall. And that car just behind, who is that, Becca? So we've got a nice little fight going on here, haven't we? So Lomi is involved. That's a touch. That's a touch. Who did that? Was that Bertlin? Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. So Bertlin had some contact there and ended up going into the wall. So he's lost quite a few places, but he's still alive, and that is the main thing. Of Tommy Villan. Oh dear. Oh dear. Tommy Villan's had a turnaround. Let's get a replay on that. Again, that may have just gone light as we're coming down. Oh, so just totally lost it there. So we have a casualty. We do have a casualty already on lap 1, which is unfortunate. Back at the front of the grid, though, Jonathan Riley is doing his best. He's eked out a second gap, hasn't he? But then we've got a really nice battle going on here. Let's get on board. So Nicholas in second place and Danilo in third. And we saw these top 3 were the only ones who managed to get it into the 59s. And they look like they're having a nice little scrap at the moment, don't they? See the brake lights glowing on the tarmac there. We love to see that. And Danilo seems to have pulled it away. Sorry, Nicholas seems to have pulled away there. So we've got a second between Jonathan and Nicholas, and then we've got 0.7 further back towards Danilo. We're looking at that beamer right now. Congratulations! Received 100 messages. Fantastic. Thank you, Restream. Alan's in the pits. No, it looks that way. It does look that way. So where are we close? So Shins. As you can see, them all. I don't know how they do this. I love watching this. I just, when I watch guys doing the sim racing, I applaud them. Like, racing this close is really, really difficult, because you know, you're not just taking into account what you're doing. You're having to think about what everyone else is doing as well. So let's get on board with Igor. So Igor's in 7th place at the moment, 0.4 behind Ragmanoli, but he's only also 0.3 ahead of Dario. We know Dario's got some good pace around here, so let's see them coming down the hill from this position. So, you know, I know they're driving in the dark, but you can see, evidently. It's just we know things move a little bit quicker, don't they, when you're driving at night time. So down the hill, down the mountain we go. It's nice and clean through there from everybody. Into the dipper. Get the car turned in nicely, and then on the power nice and early. Chris is Bingo 24th. Good, okay. We'll check that one out in a moment. So, no change at the top. Jonathan's still leaving. Nicholas is still second, but Danilo, again, finds himself now putting on a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. I like this view because we can get to see what the steering inputs are as well as we come into the chase. Just nice and calm, nice and easy. We don't want to be putting the tyres through too much stress at this stage of the race. Yeah, we don't want to be doing that. So into Murray's and then back onto the start-finish straight. 0.3 between these two guys. Let's see what Jonathan does as his... Now, I wouldn't say his first sort of flying lap, really. Evidently, he's going to be carrying a full tank of fuel as well. Jonathan does a 201.165. Nicholas is a 201.655. And Danilo, as you can see there, 201.307. So Danilo would appear to be carrying more pace at this early stage of the race than what Nicholas is in second. Florian's still running in 4th. Let's come all away from that. So Florian's still in 4th place at the moment, which is pretty good. 1.8 seconds down the road. And Marek Shintz, he's putting the pressure on massively. 0.2 seconds behind him. So let's see what Marek can do in the 364 BMW. That's obviously Marek and Darren King. Down King. Depends on how you want to address the chat. So that's interesting as well. So he's dropped off by 0.3. Igor's anger is unique amongst the sim racing community. Is it really? I mean, please expand upon that, my friend. And someone's kicking up some dust there as we go just over the top of the hill. On the brakes, down again, down another gear, on the brakes. You've got to be balancing with that throttle as well. You want to keep the car. You can see in his little mirror there, he's got someone right behind him, as you would expect. And that is, of course, Michael Romagnoli. He's just behind him, so we could potentially have a challenge coming on there. So great racing from everybody at the moment. again, it's nice and clean. We've got some positions going. Who is that? Oh, we've got 3. We've got 3, 4 yellows. So we've evidently had some form of contact somewhere. So Marco Lomi, Hamling, Chris Vining's involved as well, unfortunately. So we'll see. And that's why. So Florian's ended up in the wars. As you can see, it's been completely turned around there, unfortunately, and that's going to drop in right to the bottom of the grid, unfortunately, in the 666 Lambo. It's a nice turnaround, and off he goes again. So Florian's back at it. Oh dear. And Velazzi, well, Velazzi is evidently in quite a bit of trouble there, isn't he? Let's do a little replay. He's obviously stuck. He is stuck, and he wants to get moving. Oh dear, boys. Ouch. So, oh dear. So Velazzi was trying to get turned around, and obviously he did that at the time that Florian had managed to get going again, and that was a big love tap, wasn't it? So Jan Barth is currently running in 29th at the moment. I have to remember starting from the pit lane. I think he had a bit of a disconnection from the server, managed to get back in, so at least he's still out there running. And Jan is 1.2 seconds behind Tommy Villan. Now Tommy Villan, who's running for the goats, yeah. Let me just check. Let me just 100% check that one. Racing Goat, the rolling goat, they were rapid. They won the 24 hours of Spa last week, so we know they've got some pace. As Marco Lomi finds himself dropping down the order, is currently in the pits. So interesting to see what happened with him. That manages to promote Christian Romano. Wow, he's in the pits as well. So again, they did all get involved in this. We've got 3 in the pits at the moment, 4 in the pits. So Velazzi, Becker, Lomi and Romano all in the pits as Marco Lomi moves out. So Tommy Villan in this battle at the moment, just trying to keep Jan behind. It was 1.2, it's now 2.3, so he's managing to stretch his legs a little bit again there. Matteo Manelli, as you can see, currently in 25th position in the 181 Mercedes. Evidently, once we start getting through the time and we get some sunshine, we'll be able to see everything much better, but we shall crack on. So, any movers and shakers up the front, let's do a little run through so that everyone understands what's going on. That's a pretty close battle though, isn't it? Oh, is that a move going to happen? It looks like it. He's pulled up alongside him. So Manelli in 26th place is currently just lost that position to Tommy Villan, but again, we know Tommy's fast. He's probably out of position there, to be quite honest with you, and he moves himself up a place. So Jonathan Riley, here's your man. Jonathan Riley there, currently still leading this race. He's now created himself a gap of 1.6 seconds back to Niklas, but Niklas is still rather busy defending from Danilo, and that gap hasn't really changed. It's 0.3 seconds. So, I mean, these two have been at it, haven't they? All race long. We're only 9 minutes in of 8 hours. But again, I also found when we did the 24 hours last week, the pace, once everyone settled into their pace, the gaps didn't really change that much. Evidently, they would move when you had a quicker driver come in, potentially within the team. But the pace was very static across the entire race, which was good. It meant that we had good battles everywhere. So these three are really getting involved, and you can see. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're on board currently with Florian Dukrop in 4th place in the 52 BMW now. Evidently, he's got to keep an eye on what's going on behind him, but not too much. Oh, that's showing a change. 1 sec. No, that's not a change. That's messed up. Schintz is in. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Florian is currently running in 4th place at the moment. You've got to keep an eye behind him because he does have Marek Schintz, who we know is pretty quick and looks like he's closing him down quite a lot actually. So he's trying to catch the guys in front, but he's also going to have to defend. Now we do have a bit of a beamer fest as well. So equal machinery, it's just going to be about setup and driving technique that's going to make the difference with these guys at the moment. So Schintz, as you can see behind down the start-finish straight, is running in 5th position. He's only 0.4 behind, and that's caused Florian. He's backed up a little bit, takes a little bit of the gravel. That's not going to help him. So let's go on board with Marek, and let's see what it looks like for him, closing him down Mountain Straight up towards quarry. Let's see if we can just stick right to the back of him through the mountain section and then try and cause it. So maybe brake a bit later, push a bit harder, lose a bit of grip. That's what Marik's trying to do at the moment. Well, Jonathan Riley's made a mistake. Jonathan Riley's made a mistake somewhere, or Niklas has just found himself an absolute ton of pace, because that gap is now 0.4. It was 1.7, remember, so the gap at the front has closed down, which has meant that your top 5, no, your top 6 really, are only covered by half a second gaps between each car, so they've now all, you can see, all really squeezed in together, which is great for us. That means it's 2.5 seconds covering the top 5, which is absolutely fantastic. Battles going on everywhere at the moment, and you will, at some point they are going to come across the back markers. Honda tyres now to temperature. AMG made a mistake somewhere. Yes, indeed. Good. We did say, I did think the tyres on the Honda were potentially, and the fuel loads were what was causing Niklas to be under so much pressure from Danilo, but we'll see. Smiley says car 69.737 moving up. I will of course have a look at those, Chris. Just got to keep our eye on this battle at the moment. And this is now your top 6, isn't it? Because Michael Romagnoli in 6th position is only 0.7 behind Schintz. So there's your top 6. That's your train. That's what we're looking at the moment. These are your race leaders. Interesting, all evidently running a very, very good pace. Quickest lap of the race so far is Marek Schintz with a 2 minutes 0.835. So people again, tyres, fuel, everything coming together at the moment. And we've got Edicus 33, go Slovenia back. Wow, yes, go indeed. Welcome to the show. Hope you're well. 0.2 between the top 2. I'm feeling a challenge, ladies and gents. I'm feeling a challenge coming on rather soon. So it may be, we don't know, maybe Jonathan's pushed his tyres a little bit too hard in trying to build that gap. You can see that everyone behind are also in the red. It's 0.4 and 0.4. So we've got some epic racing going on here. Absolutely no doubt about that. As we go over the top, get ready to approach the down section of the mountain through the S's and then into the dipper. And again, you can see that Mercedes, Jonathan Riley is pushing that Mercedes hard, and now you can see the difference actually in terms of the Honda. Before, she looked a little bit skittish, she would slide in a little bit. That looks nicely planted at the moment, which would suggest what Vincent was saying in the live chat, that the tyres and everything are now where they should be. So this battle continues to rage on. Gaps increased slightly. That's allowed Danilo to move up. Look at that one. So Marek again, 0.3. He's in the sandwich. We talk about the sandwich. I talk about the sandwich all the time. So we're on board with Marek. We've got to think what's going on at the moment with Marek. Yeah, he's doing all right. He's holding good position there. Nothing, no real dramas going on. But so Marek's obviously trying to put pressure on Florian in 4th place. He's evidently mindful of what's going on just in front of him as well, because everyone is so close, as you can see as we go through Murray's onto the start finish straight again. But Marek's thinking, right, we're all similarly paced. When do I push, or how hard do I push, or what can I do to really put myself in the head of Florian and make him make a mistake? But at the same time, he's got to be conscious of Romagnoli behind him, because again the gap, it's only 0.3, so he's got to be conscious of any potential moves from the number 164. He's got to be conscious of him trying to use his racecraft to put Marek out of position as well, all whilst he's trying to plot his way past. And I've got 181, a yellow, going down through the chase, and who is that? 181 is Matteo Minelli, currently going rather slowly there, so I'm assuming there's an issue. Vazikas has just made a move on Hamlin for 18th position as well, which is all good news for him. There we go, absolutely flying down the mountain. Just whilst we're watching that, I'm just going to catch up with some of the bits there. Do I need anything on the Discord? Are we all good? I believe we are all good. Okay, back to it. So no change so far in the top 6. What a great battle we've got going on with these guys. I know it's close. The AMG always looks all over the place, but it doesn't randomly throw you in the wall. I personally, Vincent, I am not a huge fan of the Merc. I can't get on with her that well. That's evidently a driver issue. Yeah, rather than the car issue. But she's not a favourite of mine, I have to say. I wouldn't pick her. So, we've had a good look. We've had a good look at these guys. We know this battle is really, really close, don't we? We'll get on board. Let's get on board with Michael, see how he's getting on in his BMW. Yeah, the Honda does seem a bit OP though, got to say that. So in 7th place, we are going to move down the grid. What I like to do whenever we're doing a live broadcast, we've got a slow-moving car there. I'm probably just getting out of the way. Blue flags. We'll touch on blue flags in a moment as well. Every sort of live stream that I do, especially a longer endurance race like this, I do like to give everybody some airtime because you've all taken the time to be here. Yeah, you all want to do well in this. Practice, liveries, all those bits. Yeah, so I like to make sure everyone gets some time. So we will move away from this battle shortly, although it's a pretty close one. And there's 6 cars involved, as you can see, all absolutely flying through there. Poor cameraman. It is so close. I tell you what, if these guys all stay together throughout the first stint, that's going to be pretty epic, isn't it? And then the pit stop's going to obviously come into play as well. Now let's touch on the blue flags just for a second. Okay, so blue flags, we all know that sometimes this can cause chats or discussions, should I say, within different leagues and discords and all those bits. Blue flags really simple. Yep, blue flags are there to inform you that there is a faster driver approaching. It's not telling you to jump out of the way. This is not Formula 1. You don't have to get out of the way. It's just letting you know, dude, someone quick is coming up behind you. You are then obliged to hold your racing line. It's up to the quicker driver to find a way past. And what we do within Formula Racing League is, as we've developed that over time, we just say to everyone, look, hold your line, especially on the mountain. Yeah? Don't go trying to jump out of anyone's way on the mountain. Hold your line, and then when you're on the longer straights, if you wish to indicate, to decide and tell the faster driver where you're going, or you want to back out, as we've got a challenge there. Oh dear, hold on 1 second, ladies and gents, we need to check that one out again from on board. So, into the chase. Did he touch him? No, he's just lost it. Oh dear, Michael was looking to make a move on Marek there, but as you saw, as they came over and in the slight crest, there is a bump there, and there is a bump there, which is quite nasty, and I'm pretty sure that as he's gone over that bump, he's probably lifted off potentially because he was getting really close to the back of Marek, and with that bump, that's just caused the back end to go really, really light and over-rotate. That is really unfortunate. So manages to recover, but now finds himself 3.1 seconds from this initial battle. You can see they're all flying past now. There we go. Smiley says Honda will be awesome for 6 laps, and then lap 8 you'll do nothing different and it will go to the wall. And these things happen. These things happen, don't they? So we're on board. This is getting rather tasty at the moment. So he's trying to fly off. Nicholas is now, it's the same gap in front and behind him, and we do have, you can see that, we do now have people that are out of position on the track that are coming into play. So we're going to have to start deploying some extra vision, some extra thought into how they all approach, because what you don't want is to have any issues coming down the hill. Let's go on board with Jonathan and see how he deals. Let's see how he deals with back mark. You see the blue flags waving. Now again, I did say, you know, the instructions from us are don't jump out the way on the hill, because that's not gonna help anyone. As you can see, it just pulls over there as we go through Forest Elbow, and that's going to let all of the top guys by. And that was some good driving there. So Shinz is still holding the fastest lap of the race. Michael's back in 6th, 3.1. That gap hasn't changed at all as these guys all come flying through that back marker, and Shinz needs to get past as well, probably on the inside into the chases, make that move stick. It does indeed. So your top 5 are still absolutely nose to tail together. We've got 3.7 a second, 1.5 seconds covering your top 5, and it's exactly what we all need to see on a Sunday morning, no doubt at all. And I'm sure there's some interesting chats going on within all the teams to figure out, okay, you know, what are we doing here, guys? I'm sure they'll all have spotters deployed as well, just to keep an eye on what's going across the track. So Igor is still holding 7th place quite nicely, actually. Sebastian Apostel has moved himself up to 8th. He was 10th, qualified in 10th, remember, so he's gained a couple of places and only 1.3 seconds behind Igor in 7th. Dario, obviously we saw Dario move down the grid a little bit. He's in 9th position currently, and Manos Gerardis rounds out in the top 10. But he's got himself, well, he's 7.5, or nearly 8 seconds further back from Dario, but he's got a challenge currently from Lucas Congretel, which again, I really want to go and have a look at. But these are just too close together. You lot would kill me if I moved off the top 5 being 1.5 seconds apart. At this stage, I do believe we are, 22 minutes into the race, so nearly halfway through their first stint. Where did we get to? So, oh, ouch, 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 ouch. Wow. Well, indeed, Jonathan Riley, ladies and gents, Jonathan Riley has just absolutely lost that, completely lost it on the way down the hill, and has killed his car, absolutely killed his car. Wow. I was not expecting, I mean, we did say earlier on, we did say that Merc looked like she was getting a little bit of a handful, didn't we? So we've currently, so that's 2 out of the top 6 battle of now, succumbed to the pressure of Jonathan. He's not going to be too happy with that, finds himself now down in 6th place. You saw just as they come over, again, what I think happened there is, as it came under the bridge, yes, Vince, I know, I get a feeling about these things. I get a feeling in my bones about when things are going to happen. After doing this for so long, and yeah, so when he was just coming over the top of the mountain there to start the descent, again the car goes light there. Now what you shouldn't be braking there. You definitely should not be braking there. You need to wait until you're just under the bridge down the first bit, then you start to brake. So maybe Jonathan got a little bit out of shape on the left-hander before that and felt the need to dab the brakes, but again, all that's going to do is just going to change the balance of the car and how that is handling, and again, that's probably just spat him or caused the back end to go too light. And Cal's Fault says, cast a curse, strikes again. I know, it's not as bad as it used to be. It used to be terrible, to be fair. Every time I used to look and talk about anyone, they'd get so like, oh my god, Gypsy's talking about me, they'd lose their concentration, that they would crash. These guys and girls, I would be hoping, at their level and experience, can do it a little bit better. Right, I'm going to come off this battle now, because we've got 0.7 between Niklas and Danilo. We've then got 0.7 between Danilo and Florian, same sort of gap back to Shintz, about 2nd. And then Romagnoli in 5th, so that's allowed Igor to move up to 6th. Let's have a look at Igor. Let's have a look at him, shall we? We haven't looked at him. Looked like the dump and settled the rear. Yes, 100%. 100% agree with you there. 100% agree with you. And you can see he's getting a little bit out of shape there as well in the BMW, and he's being pushed hard. Sebastian Apostel there, I know he's a very, very quick driver. As I said, I do comms for ERS on a Wednesday, and I know he's quick and he's putting some pressure on. So let's have a look at this view again. We managed to have a look at the body roll on the car in front, and obviously now the top 3 have all decided to concertina up again as soon as I come away from that. So I shall keep an eye. We're going to have a challenge into the chase as he pulls alongside the 911. So he's on the outside. Remember, he's going to need to either get that move fully done. Thank you, camera. He does get the move done into the chase. So Sebastian showing some good pace there, manages to get a move done on Igor. Let's see if he can scamper away and try and close them guys down. In the top 3 is 0.4 between them at the moment. So just for a moment, just have a quick look. So it seems everyone's calmed down a little bit again. Now, when an event like that happens, especially, it doesn't really matter where you're running on track, when an event like that happens, it's because you're so in your zone, like all 6 of those, and then all 5 of them were so in the zone in terms of, you know, their braking points, turning points. When an event like that happens and your man who's in first place, and let's be fair, you know, was comfortable in qualifying for P1, has an incident, it shocks you a little bit, and you've then got to start thinking, okay, is that going to happen to me? And it takes them a lap or so to get things going again. Good morning, says Palabest. Good morning, Palabest. Hope you're well. And Sandoral says live timing. I have live timing. Thanks so much. Good morning to you too. So Marek's in 4th place at the moment, so we've got 0.3 between the top two, and then we've got a little bit of a breather, 0.7 back towards Florian. Now, not that's closer at the moment, evidently. 0.7, I always say, from half a second back is pretty safe. Pretty safe a bit ACC. Generally, you know, that gives you enough breathing space to be comfortable, to let your brain process the information and keep your braking time and accelerating turning points all as they should be. Any closer than that, then you start thinking about, okay, can this person, can they make a move? Can they, you know, try and put me out of position? So we'll see. Michael in 5th place is 2 seconds down the road, and yeah, again, we're not going to see a challenge there. You just saw Danilo just took the nose out as we're getting towards the chase, and he's evidently thinking to himself, come on, I'm here to pick up any pieces as they go into Murray's yet again onto the start-finish straight. So we're still, remember, we are in the dead of night, well, 4 a.m. start in the morning for this one, and your top 4 are again nose to tail. So Sebastian Apostel again doing really well. He's 3.3 seconds behind Michael in 6th position. Managed to move himself up from qualifying 10. Luckily we managed to throw from UOL to race for us in pulse. Wow, drills, sorry. Good. Borrowing is good. It's not what you know, it's who you know, isn't it? That's all we have to say. So Florian's doing a fantastic job there, and no doubt Drills is pretty happy with that in the team. But Danilo again putting that pressure on Niklas. How long can these guys continue at this? Well, with these gaps, that's what we want to know, don't we? Sebastian's in 6th, Eagle's up to 7th place. Dario is now in 9th. More Christmas shopping, so watching on the way round. It's fine, Merchies. Oh dear, and you see that? Who was that? I thought, yeah, Florian definitely went a little bit slower there. Again, a little bit too keen. Everyone's really fighting. That's put him into the clutches of Marek. So non-stop, isn't it? Whilst we're watching these battles, let's just have a little look. I've changed camera angle. How's Brown or Jan doing? I'll tell you in a moment, mate. Let's move down the grid and have a quick look. If anything changes, guys, I'll try and grab a replay on it, but we need to let everyone know how everyone else is doing. So, Dario's in 8th. Gerardis in the 41 is currently running in 9th position, 6.6 seconds down the road. And then Congratal is in 10th, and Congratal is 2.3 seconds. A move being done there into the chase. Schintz goes up the inside late on the brakes. That was a fantastic move there. So Florian dropped down the spot. It may have been that he had a little bit of dirt on those tyres. Obviously, you saw him pick up a little bit of dust a few corners ago, and that's allowed Schintz to, well, get in the tow down the Conrod straight and make that move into the chase. So well done to you. No doubt Mr. Darren King will be very, very happy with that position. So if the race was to finish now, Niklas, Danilo and Marek, their teams would be in a place for the final. So I'm sure they're going to want to just get beavering away and hold those positions. Where did I get to? Top 10, didn't I? So yeah, Congatal is currently in 10th position. Marcel Fuzzy in 11th. 5.9 seconds further back down the road. Carlino's in 12th place and he's 3.6 seconds. And then we've got Danin Serigin. Serigin is in 13th place and he's only a second down the road. So that battle could develop at the moment. As you can see, Florian's trying as he might to try and get back at Schintz there. Barnabas Fazekas is 14th place. Lewis Zelch is currently in 15th in the McLaren, 7 seconds further down the road. Then we've got Hamlin in 16th in the Lamborghini, six laps down. I'm sure we saw him in an incident, quite honestly, there. Who else? We've got Tommy Villan. Fantastic driver is Tommy, but he finds himself in 17th in the 368 Honda, 13.1, just under 13 seconds further off the pace. Chris Vining finds himself in 18th. Obviously, Chris is a Formula Racing League driver, so he's currently top of our boys at the moment in 18th. Well done to you, Chris, in the 69 Aston Martin. And Dipolito, wow. We've got Dowkins' team are in third down. Lurchie's in third at the moment. Dipolito is also Formula Racing driver in the 737. He's running in 19th position. What's the gap between them? 2.3 seconds. Could have a little FRL fest shortly, couldn't we? In 20th position, we've got Mika Sichi another 2 seconds down the road. Then we've got Babato in 21st in the Porsche. That's the first Porsche on the grid. Look at that, in 21st, 11.6 seconds further down. Marco Lomi, we saw, had an instant earlier on in his Ferrari. He's running in 22nd. And then Konstantin Volkov's in 23rd. Romano, Arman Romano, Promodex. He's currently running in 24th at the moment. Tyson Robs is 25th. Uros Jelenko is 26th. Konrad Kula is running in 27th place. And then we've got Maximilian Vedi. G gambling timing's got to be wrong. They are not all 6 laps down. Yeah, well, I know that. I don't think they are either. Jan Barth is in 29th position at the moment. Florian Becker is in 30th place. Alexander Venik 31st. Alan Brown, Fresh Brizzle, is 32nd. And then Velasquez 33rd. Minelli's 34th. And Burton's still in the pits in 35th. So we've got 35 drivers running still. We did start with 37. We did have 2 disconnect and then get back in, but we have, by the look of it, lost a couple. Because we need to get back on board and see this challenge from Danilo. So I think my plan is going to be, because obviously we can't stay on this battle for 8 hours. But given it's still so close, we're at the early stage of the race, I'm going to keep my eye on this until the gap moves out to about 0.7 seconds. Then we're going to find other close battles further down the grid. Okay, and at the end of the day, if that means we miss something. That's obviously, I've only got 2 eyes and 1 pair of hands, you know. But I want to make sure everybody, all the battles that develop, we want to make sure we can try and get hold of them. Blue flags waving as we come into the chase. Well, let's hope that those individuals manage to, well, move out of the way at the right time. We've got some flashing going on at the moment from Danilo, just maybe trying to put him off as he gets into the braking zone. And you can see Schintz is increased that gap from 3rd back to Florin. That's now 0.7 seconds, which actually means, come on Coops, more effort. More effort. Thanks, Dal. And if anyone's wondering who Dal is, Dal is usually our well, we call him Hangman Dal because he's usually doing the live stewarding. Dal's obviously a massive part of Formula Racing League. Does an awful lot of stuff for us. You'll see him on the podcast on a Wednesday with his rather green headphones and not understanding a word he says because he speaks Scottish. But yes, Dal, I'll try. I'm trying. So Schultz, where is he? So Schultz is 1.3 down the road. Again, I was just saying the fact that Florian's just dropped back a little bit there. He might be just backing himself off, just making sure he can get himself ready for another go, or he might just be thinking to himself, well, let's see if he pushes himself too hard. But Danilo is really chomping at the bit to try and get past Nicholas. I have to say, it's been a really, really good drive by Nicholas. Let's have a look and see what the timings are between them. I don't think there's going to be massive gaps between those two. Not really, you can see that. Very, very close in all 3 sectors. Yeah, the race must be clean if he's given. Yes, that's right. That's right. That is right. And NGTO Party says it's all about surviving the first 7 hours. It is, but we've had a couple that have tried to push a little bit too hard. And that's the thing, with it being such a long, with it being an 8-hour race, you know, even if you do lose a position, you know, you don't know the standard of the other drivers you're against in this particular stint. So it's not always worth fighting for. Not saying it's not. But I do think a couple of errors that we've seen so far in this race have been self-inflicted. People just pushing a little bit too hard, although I do think they're both to do with the bumps. The bump on the way into the chase and then the other sort of the dip, the change of elevation as you start to go down the mountain. I do think those were the culprits for our 2 of our top 6 ending up having offs there. There we go. Michael 1.3 behind, so he's doing alright. So Postel is still trying to close him down in 6th position. That's 2.5 seconds now. So since Sebastian's got past Igor, we saw that in the chase a little while ago, he's managed to build himself a 2.5 second gap, which is again showing that he does have a good pace around here. Yeah, Smiley's just giving out some information. it's real drivers in today, says Dal. Yes. Hence why Dal's not racing. But yeah, this battle is absolutely going for it. They're not stopping, are they? Still 0.3. What are we? 7 hours, 24 minutes left to go. So about 35, 36 minutes of this race, and there's still 0.3 seconds between the top two. The gap back to Schintz is now 1.2, and that is the same gap as back to Florian. So those guys seem to be just steadying the ship. They seem to be just probably just accepting whatever pace they're running at the moment and trying to keep that steady. Romagnoli in 5th place, he's 2 seconds down the road, and then Apostle is now only 2.3. So he is, I think I caused most of the drama in the pros last week. No comment. We'll let the stewards answer that one, I think. Just quick shout out, anyone that's watching this evening, this morning. I keep saying that, don't I? And it is 11:11. What a great time to do this. Anyone that's watching on the Formula Racing League Twitch channel, which this is going out on, please drop a follow if you haven't already. Please do comment. Let me know who you're supporting. Any questions, just fire away. No one's going to bite. We're all quite friendly in the live chat. Anyone who's watching over on my YouTube channel, COMMS by Coops, drop a like, it would be awesome, and consider a sub if you want to see other epic racing within Formula Racing League on one-off events. That would be pretty awesome as well, as their battle is still raging, 0.3. So that seems pretty standard at the moment. I need to have a look at this guy. So we're on board at the moment with Daniel Serigin in 12th place, coming into hard on those brakes, I believe. Just coming through just coming through House Corner there onto Mountain Straight. Now these guys are 11th and 12th, and they have just swapped positions there. So Carlino in front has just managed to make a move on Serigin. Is trying to look to make an assault on the top 10, but steady boys, don't want to see any crashes. So you see that as we went into quarry, Serigin thought he's just gonna put himself on the inside a little bit, try and make this guy think, and hard on the brakes. So you saw a little twitch from that 201 from Carlino in front in his BMW. It would be lovely. It would be lovely to see something other than a Beamer. There's millions of one here. I take it we like 201 then. Your liveries and your colours look quite similar, but you've got the 181 badge on there, so I'm assuming you're going to support that car as well. Check that out a bit later on. Anyway, on the brakes, down the hill we come. So what's the gap between these two? It's 0.5. So at the end of the day, Daniel Serigin, who we're on board with at the moment, he doesn't have to worry about what's going on behind him. Yeah, he's got himself an 8.5 second gap back to Vazquez. So he just needs to now concentrate on trying to stick on the back of Carlino, and then try and apply some pressure. Now that's easier said than done. Okay, we know it's a difficult track, and at the end of the day, we don't know what their tyres are like. We don't know if they're carrying any damage, if they've had any little love taps anywhere. You know, even a couple of seconds worth of damage is going to make a difference to how the car handles across the whole lap, which the whole grid was M4s. I'm obsessed with BMWs. I hope you drive a BMW in real life. Otherwise, I mean, we had this chat, didn't we, before? Obviously, it wasn't in this event. I think it was the 24-hour event. One of the chaps, I think it was Thomas Yanks, did the entire 24 hours solo. Did it on his own, and he completed it. Fair play to him. He was driving the Beamer. And I think Smiley was trying to sort of garner support for BMW, trying to sponsor him or something like that, because obviously he'd driven their car for 24 hours straight. How he didn't fall asleep, I have no idea, but he did really, really well. Gap at the top, I came away from that at the right time, is now elongated to 0.7. So it looks like they're all settling down a little bit now. That is what I would think. I forced my dad to get one. Oh, that's a shame that you can't drive in real life. Well, at least you get a chauffeur then, maybe. I'm the opposite, to be fair. I'm the taxi in our house. No one drives me anywhere. But apart from my wife and kids, they drive me bonkers. I'm thinking about food. Dal, why are you thinking about food, mate? I mean, I'm absolutely starving. I haven't had any breakfast yet, but I'm going to get this full stint done, and then I'm going to eat. Uber Coops, that should be my new name. There's a new series. Actually, I could feel a new series coming on with that. Anyway, so we're looking at Surrogate still trying to close that down. That gap's now 1.3, so that doesn't look like it's moving anywhere at the moment. The top 6 are again all nice gaps, and Apostle is now under 2 seconds behind Michael. So that looks like it occurs. Yeah, Uber Coops. I'm just thinking of a theme tune as well in my head. You can see that. I'm thinking about 18 things at once. Right, let's move down the grid. Right, now that we've got everybody, looks like they're playing ball. Where's Hamlin? He's only 0.3. Let's get on board with that one. Right, so we're on board with Guilherme Hamlin in the 14 Lamborghini. Last lap at 2:03.035. Quickest lap of the race is still held by Marek Schintz at 2 minutes flat 7:37. Keddy will like the fact his numbers in there, and we're coming up towards. Well, move done into the chase. That was a nice move there. So Lewis Zouch. Oh, Lewis Zouch. Well, he wanted to defend that, and I think, well, he certainly. Was there a car's width there? I'm not thinking there was. Let me see if we can get that back. We just missed it. I don't think there was a car's width there. So Lewis most definitely elbows out defending that position from Hamlin in his BMW, in his Lamborghini. So we'll see how that one, if it develops again. But let's go a bit further back up. So let's have a look through all of our drivers, give you all an update. So Sebastian Apostle in the darkness. Come on, son, where are you? I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. The sun is going to rise when my stint is finished. Yeah, so you've all just going to have to bear with it, ladies and gents. Unfortunately, we can't. That is terrible. Let's do. At least we can see if we go here. Any headlights? There we go. We've got some form of light. Let's stay with that for now. Hoops Missus made pancakes this morning, and there's still birthday cake and donuts all over here. Wow. Smiley is having a bit of a feast this morning, isn't he? Yes, he is. Right. So we're on board with Sebastian coming into the chase again. He's now got himself a gap of 1.2, and that's because, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, we did miss it. We did miss it. This man, that's annoyed me. That's really annoyed me. So Nicholas is evidently, that Honda has thrown a bit of a paddy at some point, and well, he's not leading the race anymore, is he? You can see that this guy is now leading the race. So maybe Danilo and Marek had a little coming together, maybe when they're going through the back markers. But Marek Schintz is now leading the race. He has a 3.1 second gap back to Danilo. So I'm sure there was contact there. Please, anyone who's in the live chat, if I missed that, let me know. The 73 is off track at the moment. That looks like it's in a pretty dangerous position, so we need to just check that out. That's Alexander Venick. And he is, well, he's definitely stopped. He's definitely, and don't go now, mate. Everybody is coming through. You're going to have to wait. Everybody is coming through that section. I'm looking at the map. There's no gap there for him. That's going to be very interesting. SOP Motorsport says, hello, FRL. Hello, SOP. Always the Hondas. Yeah, well, they do. It happens, you know. So we're just saying, change of leader at the front. He's having to reverse and find his way through. So currently, Schintz in the BMW has just, you've seen throughout the race, just been eking his way up and then coming down the hill now. So please don't hit anyone. Nicholas says it was P2. Okay. What, did he get a love tap? Did he get a love tap? Got stuck behind a back marker. No, okay. Yeah, I did think that back markers would evidently play a part, but again, you know, we understand when we're up and down the mountain, if there's back markers involved, then everyone's got to be just that teeny tiny bit more aware and more careful. So I'm sure we'll see how that pans out later on in the race. Marek takes advantage of that, so that's from 6th up to P1 at the moment. Danilo's currently still in 2nd place. He's, again, that Beamer, she was all over the place then, wasn't she? He's only got 0.7 back to Florian, so their battle is back on again. And then we've got Ragmanoli finds himself in 5th. Sebastian's up to 6th, so, you know, things are moving, aren't they? And Nicholas finds himself back down in 6th place, unfortunately. So there's a lot of action going on here. Eagles to be 7th, and we were going to run through all the other drivers on the grid, but obviously, as soon as I want to do that, the top 4 or 5 decide, let's make it more interesting for him, shall we? So I can feel something coming on when he did stick his nose up the inside. Though Michael is challenging for a podium place here, so we've got, wow, Florian is having to hold firm as we're going up the mountain, but behind him we have got these two individuals. Michael's in 4th position. That isn't anyone 4th position just behind Michael. That's someone, probably a back marker I would suggest. But Michael Ragnoli, again, him and Sebastian have done very similar things so far in this race. They have just slowly moved themselves up through the field, which is exactly what we want them to happen. But yes. Now on the way down, so let me move away from that. Let's have a different view on that as they snake their way down the mountain. Hopefully there's no incidents happening. Right, you guys play nicely. I need to give people some lap time. So Manos Gerardis in the 41 BMW, there you can see he's currently running in 8th position, doing a very, very good job, nice and steady, not taking massive risks, just having good solid pace there. Keeps himself in 8th position. Kongatao is doing a very similar job, and we are, what, 2 seconds down the road? No, sorry, 4 seconds down the road. Look at the wrong person there. And in 10th place, we've got Marcel Fuzzy. Marcel's doing really well, 7.1 seconds further down the road in his rather dirty-sounding Mercedes there. And where's my Astons? We've had no Aston time yet today. Diego Carlino in his 201 BMW. He's doing well. He's in 11th place at the moment. He's just under 5 seconds behind, potentially trying to get himself a position within the top 10, and those top 3 are still fairly nicely gapped, so I can carry on doing what I'm doing. Serigin in 12th place, 2 seconds down the road in his 149 BMW. Barnabas Fazekas in his BMW in the 111. Last lap 202.340. He's currently running in 13th, and then we've got Lewis Zouch, who we saw defending rather staunchly, shall we say, against Hamlin a couple of laps ago, and he has managed to pull a gap on him. It's now 1.2 seconds, and then we've got Hamlin is running in his Lamborghini. He's running in 15th position at the moment. Tommy Villan not having a massively great day, considering the driving, the standards, what I certainly got to see last week anyway. He's running in 16th position, and those timings are all over the place on his one. Dipolito, there we go, the first Formula Racing League car, and we've got another one just behind. So Dipolito is running in 17th position currently. There we go, in the 737 McLaren. Well done to you boys, it's great to see. Look, we've got 3. We've got 3. Amazing. Chris Vining is your next man up in the Aston now. Now, we know what we need to do now, ladies and gents. I've got to do it. I do this every time. Let's have a listen to the Aston. Just so meaty. Anyway, I love the sound of the Aston. If you didn't gather that, I do love the sound of the Aston. So Chris Vining's in 18th place. Marco Lomi, there we go in the Ferrari. Oh, again, she's looking a little bit sketchy. We saw they had a pit stop earlier on, so Marco is massively out of position in 19th place at the moment, and she definitely will try and kill you up and down the mountain. Let's have a look. Commentator's curse coming up. He's on a lift. Tiny lift there, then squeeze on the power. Right, let's get the car balanced. You want to be balanced down here. Nice. Nicely done. I think I probably would have crashed about 8 times through there in the Ferrari, but all good. Well done, Marco. I like your style. We've got a yellow flag. Uh-oh, in the Lambo. What's happened? What's happened to Hamlin in the Lamborghini? So again, it's him. Oh, that is him and Lewis again. So it's coming up towards the chase. Thought he got himself up alongside. May have got himself up alongside, but evidently there was contact there. So again, the question mark of potentially, did we have a full car's width or not? Or was he sufficiently alongside? I don't know. Anyway, that's put Hamlin down into 16th place. So Chris Vining 18th, Marco Lomi we're just looking at in 19th position. Then Mika Sici's running in 20th place in the BMW in the 214 again, so top 20. Do you know what? You finish anywhere in this race. It's a good effort. Yeah, considering the level of drivers we've got here, it's a very, very good effort. Konstantin Volkov, who I know is absolutely rapid in the 949 BMW, finds himself in 21st place, 20 seconds off the pace from CG in 20th. So that just shows you the pace difference. Christian Romano, there we go, in his number 40 Mercedes, coming under pressure as we go through the chase. Christian, fellow commentator within Formula Racing League and other places, no doubt. He'll be with you later on today. I think he's going to close out the show, so you'll all get to hear Christian getting rather excited, which he does like to do, which is great. I just then don't know what he's saying, but he's a fantastic commentator. I love him. He's under a little bit of pressure at the moment. He's only got 0.3 to the guy behind, and that is Tyson Robbs. Tyson, maybe, has already pulled out to make a move. No, 0.4 seconds. So we'll keep an eye on this. Look, it's some Bathurst, says Hugo. Hugo, Sutherland, so do I. I think everyone loves a bit of Bathurst, don't they? It is a great track. So much jeopardy on this track. You need a lot of skill. You need to drive well on all the tracks, and all the tracks you need to have skill on all of them. But I have to say, Bathurst is certainly the one with the most jeopardy as we're coming down the hill now. Got that big horrible face of that Mercedes all over the back of Chromadex. Can he hold him off is what I know. What's his lap times? 2:02.637. Good pace, Chromadex, good pace. So he seems to have managed to get away just slightly, but then here we go. Down the mountain we come. Gotta love it. Everyone's clocked. How can you not love this? And it's still in the dead of night at the moment. I'm sure morning's coming at some stage. But these guys, but then we've also got Yelenko, Uros Jelenko's in 24th place, and let's get on board with Tyson, because he's got him behind and he's trying to get Chromadex, so he's now in the sandwich again. We were talking about this earlier on. You know, you saw how close he was to Chromadex just a short moment ago, and he's thinking, if he genuinely believes he has more pace than Christian, he needs to get that move done. That's not going to happen down the inside into the chase at this stage, but now look how close Yelenko's closed up behind, 25th. So we're going to stay on this battle. Definitely going to stay on this one for a little while. At the top of the grid, Shintz, Florian's moved himself up, has he? And Danilo. So there's your top three. Michael's still in 4th, so Seb's still 5th, and Nicolas is still holding 6th place at the moment. We're further down the field in 23rd, but again, it doesn't matter where we are. Look at all the battles that are going on here this evening, or this morning at the moment. And Smiley says he also loves Bathurst, but Bathurst does not love him. You know what? It happens. Can't always have the love, you know. So Tyson Robbs is in a really good battle at the moment. Again, we've got blue flags as well, so we've got faster cars who are in different parts of their stint in the race who are approaching. You've got to be mindful of that. You don't want to be ruining anybody's race. Most certainly not. Helicam for the way down, so we can keep an eye on what's going on here. Then we've got Visic is running in 25th place. Where's Visic? So he's only a second behind, so he's coming to join the party as well. Brilliant. We've got another quartet which is about to, well, commence very, very fast chess on a mountain in the dark. Well, good luck to them. Let's have a look at him. There he is in the Honda 201.735. That was a quick time from him in the 987. Certainly quickest out of that little gaggle. You saw his tail was just getting a little bit happy there as the three in front are all rather close together. You can keep an eye on all of these guys, and you can see Chromadex is still at the head of the pack, but Smiley says he got a podium the other day and then died at Skyline Race 2. You'd switch what? Back to our... What would you switch back to, Chris? I don't understand. Oh, and that was a dive. That was a big dive up the inside. That was a big dive up the inside, wasn't it? So that was probably a blue flag scenario. And he's now being challenged. There's Jelenko's also getting busy putting a challenge on. So we do have some good challenges going on here at the moment. So let's see what this one's going to look like. Side by side into House Corner on the brakes. Get the cars tucked in. Manages to hold that line and manages to actually, well, Jelenko backed out of that one. So I thought he was going to try and go around the outside. Oh, well, no, I only don't do it until the new year, mate. I will do it after. I will do it again in the new year. I just needed a break from Fridays because I've got so much on with family stuff. So Fridays I'll get back onto it. As Visic, he manages to get a move done. So again, I did say he was managing to catch up onto the back of these guys, and he has managed to get a move done in his Honda. So that's put Jelenko down to 25th. As these guys are all battling away. Keep an eye on it, so that again, you can see those gaps have all just eked out a little bit now. So they've had that crazy session when they're all together. And let's get him, and then everyone's sort of, okay, let's be a bit more sensible now and actually not die on the mountain, which is what's happened there. So Maximilian Vedi, you can see there in 26th position in the 333 BMW. He's 20 seconds further down the road, but he's got himself a 43-second gap back to Florian in the Lamborghini. We've seen has been involved in a couple of incidents already this evening, tonight, this morning, whatever you want to say. So he's struggling at the moment. Giorgio Bergio in 28 in the Porsche. It's the first Porsche on the grid. So let's have a little listen to the Porsche, shall we? Let's have a little listen to the Porsche. Or should I just quickly check something? See, quickest lap of the race there. Why is that not coming up on my screen? Hold on a minute, peeps. Right, let's put that there. Okay. Alright, so just make some changes on the fly to what we're looking at. So, Porsche going up the hill. So, that's your first one. Rob's made a move. Of course he's made a move. Tyson's, there we go. Let's see if we can get that back on a replay. So, I know this battle is very close together, and I did say earlier on, I don't want to miss any moves, but we do have an 8-hour race. I want to make sure we could try and give everybody some time, but we did say 2 or 3 laps ago that Tyson Robs was looking pretty racy, but also Visic, who's now in 23rd place, just behind, he's doing a 2:01.445, so he's about 3/10 on the last lap quicker than Robs that we're looking at the moment. So this little gaggle are all getting pretty close together. Robs in the 18, he's in the Merc, and then we've got 2 Hondas behind him. So they are pushing, and they do want a piece, don't they? Let's have a look at from this view. And then we'll go back. I just want to finish off. I do want to finish that off. We got to Giorgio and Bergio, didn't we? No, we didn't. We got Jan's down there in 28th. So Jan's running in 28th. He's in a Porsche. Giorgio Bergio we saw in the other Porsche. He's running 29th. Then Paulie we saw in his Merc have some issues earlier on. Well, I think he disconnected and had to start from the pit lane, as did Jan Bark as well. Michel Vilazzi is running in 33rd position. Alan Brown 32nd. And we've got yellow flags there, so Florian's just made a move on Christian, which was good to see. Well, we didn't, but I'm telling you that's just happened because we're watching this little battle going on. And Giorgio's gone yellow, so he's just pulled out the way. Doesn't want to get involved. Does not want to be anywhere near anyone on a quick lap, and he's decided to come and drop that Porsche into the pit. So Jan, there we go. Jan's running in 28th currently. You're driving after him. Okay, good. Good. Christian there. So Christian's still under pressure, or has he managed to... Well, he's now 2 seconds down the road. So he's still at it. What have we got? We're almost an hour into the race. So I'm expecting, and we are having, some people come into the pits. Bertman's still in the pits. You can't see him coming back out, to be honest. Bergio we saw just drop into the pits, and that's allowed Bullock to move up to 29. Remember, we're doing 65-minute stints. We're 60 minutes almost into the race. So you can expect an absolute flurry of activity very, very shortly. We shall see. So it's currently 5 o'clock in the morning, if you like, on the server. So yeah, I'm not going to get to see any sunshine on my stint. Shocking. Picked up some damage in the first 15 minutes, so I had to get that repaired. Other than that, quite good fun. There's a long way to go though. There's a long way to go in this one. So top of the grid, your man Marek in his BMW, a 2:01.7. 762 previous lap. He's currently leading the way. He's built himself, wow, if you remember at the start, the first 40-odd minutes of this race was the top 6, 35 minutes. The top 6 were only separated by 1.9 seconds. And we were watching some stunning driving, really, really stunning driving. And we've had a couple of incidents that have gone on, mainly self-inflicted. And I think one maybe contentious issue there, which we missed because we were looking at other things down the grid, namely involving this guy, Nicholas, who is, well, he's absolutely on the charge, isn't he, to get back through the field. And Nicholas was leading the race. Who's that? So someone's just got into the pits as well. So Michael Romagnoli goes into the pits. He's your first man from the top 5 to do so. So that clears him. So Marek has just been ultra consistent so far during this stint. Come through from, not the back, but come through from sort of mid-pack in terms of the top 10 and has worked his way through. Florian's had very, very good pace as well. Sebastian, I'm impressed. I am impressed with Sebastian. I did say earlier on, I know he's quick, but found himself probably around about, he qualified 10th and has managed to work his way up to P3 as it stands at the moment. Nicholas was leading the race. He's now in P4. And then Igor, again, we've got some pit stops going on now. Igor is now in P5 from P7. So, who is in the pits? Carlino is in the pits. Fazekas is in the pits as well. Cocktail is in the pits. Romagnoli, we know he's in the pits and he's just on his way out. And then we've got Gerardis is also in the pits and on the way out. So, something we always talk about. I want a close one. Who's that? Jelenko. Where's Jelenko? There he is. Jelenko's looking pretty close again. 0.5 behind Vivic. Robs is now pulled out a 1.2 second gap. So, pit stops. Really important in the simulator, aren't they? Pit stops are so important, and there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. So you can either do an automatic pit stop, which you don't have to worry about anything. You pull into the pits, it's done automatically, and it will, you know, you get near your box, it will put you up on the jacks, do everything, drop you, and out you go. Or you can do it manually, which is obviously you're coming into the pits. As you're coming into your box, you cut the engine. Obviously, when you're doing a driver swap as well, it's important that you count the other person in, otherwise you might have issues with that, and then they'll manually get the engine started and away they go. Now, the difference between a manual and an automatic stop is around 5 seconds. So I don't expect anybody in this field to be doing automatic stops, let's put it that way. Yeah, don't expect that at all. As Florian currently coming into the pits, holds the quickest lap of the race. You can see Marek's in. There's Marek coming in, so Dow's got to get in the car now. Florian's in, and so is Sebastian. So your top 3 are in the pits. So's Nicholas. Again, obviously they've just done their full stint, and in they come. We're going to see who does the quickest pit stops and see if anybody manages to jump anybody else in there. Now, do you remember Romagnoli pitted a lap earlier? So he may be hoping that he got out into some clean air and can make up some spaces throughout the pit stops. We shall see. We shall see. So they're all sat there now. They're all chatting. They'll be all chatting with their partners. Dow, well, that's the quickest one out there. So Dow, stroke Marek, was leading the race originally. There they go. They've had their first stop completed. That was a 27.6 second stop. Florian is also now coming out of the pits. I'm expecting Sebastian to be moving. Sebastian is now only just moving, so that's a slower stop. But Marek may be doing a double stint, which is fine. It does look that way, as is Florian. So again, you know, because you're driving in teams, you've got opportunities. You can decide who's going to do what, who's going to do that when. Do we double stint? Do you triple stint? Yeah, or do you want to do half-half? Do you swap each? Do you swap someone at every pit stop? It's up to you, which just allows the teams to keep it a little bit fresh. Yeah. And allows the drivers to get into a decent flow. So Marek is currently still out in front at the moment. And Gert Fischer has taken over from Florian, so Gert is now still in P2. Romagnoli did manage to do quite well in those pit stops, didn't he? Because finds himself in 3rd place, although Fischer's now going slow, so maybe we just don't want to push that. Don't want to push the Beamer too hard straight out the pits. Obviously they will have taken tyres and fuel there. Romagnoli finds himself in 3rd, and then Littershield
now is in 4th, and Littleshield is in the Honda, so it's taken over from Niklas there, which is good to know. Sebastian is still running, so he's doing a double stint. He's in 5th place. Soldatov is still running as well, so he's in 6th. And then, in terms of close battles, well, we've got this in the pits. Hamlin's in the pits in his Lamborghini. Been involved in a couple of incidents so far today. DiPolito's also in the pits in the Formula Racing League car there, just pulling into the pits. Volkov is in the pits, and Chris Vining in his FRL Aston is also in the pits. So we're going to see if there's any major driver changes there. David Davida is out, so he's a new driver from that pit stop. And Christian, is he double stinting? It looks like Christian is double stinting at the moment, because we are, well, we're over that 65 minute mark, aren't we? So first stints are complete, ladies and gents. We're just over an hour into this 8-hour race. Remember, this is the Formula Racing League Road to World Cup. So this is the Simgrid VCO event, where, you know, it's mainly an invite-only event, which is fantastic, obviously. And there's a $10,000 prize pot for the final. But as we are pretty much, I think we are the biggest on Simgrid in terms of driver numbers and the events that we put on. They do offer out seats to those bigger communities. They offered us 3, which is amazing. We turned that down and said we'd rather actually, I don't know if we said we'd rather, it was a good decision to actually host this, which is great, because I think we're pretty good at doing that as well. And the top 3 in this race will qualify and get a seat in the final. Hence, the driving that we've seen so far, the qualification times, I've never seen anything that close in my life. The top 29, so take the top 3 out, we're in the 59s. The next 29 drivers were all 2 minutes flat, a couple of tenths here and there. And it was only sort of the 6 at the back of the field that was in the 2:01. So we have got really good, consistent, quick drivers in here. And there we go, we've also got a new fastest lap of the race. So Fisher, who's obviously just come in for his stint, goes a 2:00.730, which is 600ths quicker than what Marrick's done in P1. So we'll see if he's going to start to close him down at all and make a challenge on that. Apostle finds himself only 3 tenths behind Finn Littleshield, who obviously took over from Niklas. And then Constantine finds himself in 6th position currently. Okay, everything seems quite calm in Discord at the moment, which is good. So again, remember, once my stint is over, I think James is going to jump in and take you through probably the sunrise. Yes, let's be. Take you through the sunrise, and then you'll all be able to see cars, which will be great. And thereafter, Chromadex, I think, is going to round out the show. Michael Races in. How many drivers total? Wow, Mr. Races. Hello to you, sir. We've got 34 still in the race. We started with 37, 2 disconnected, but managed to get back in, as Alan Brown has just gone yellow on my screen at the moment. But I'm looking at this battle. Seb is, wow, he is all over the back of him, isn't he? So let's see if Sebastian can get something done. And we've got a back marker in the way as well there, so you can just see him. Look at what's going on there. He's on and off the throttle there. He's just, this is where the jeopardy comes in, especially down the hill. They don't want to be doing anything naughty here, so give the guy in front a little bit of extra room and braking space. So yeah, as Michael was saying, 37 were in qualifying, then 35 on the starting grid. The other 2 managed to get back in. It was Jan and Paulik who managed to get back in, so they're starting from the pit lane. And then we've had 37. Oh, and there we go. So, well, Minelli, that's unfortunate, isn't it? And the 181 is now in the wall. That is unfortunate indeed. But let's get back. And I think we had a situation there, didn't we, where he was probably panicking and probably just jumped on the throttle a bit early anyway. Are we going to have a challenge into the chase? Well, he's not going to go around the outside, certainly. And let's see what Littleshield does. Manages just to keep that position there. That Honda, we know, straight out the pits, we know she's a little bit sketchy on those tyres. We did have someone from the team say that earlier on. And then into Murray's, again, just showing the nose. So Sebastian's trying to put some pressure on there. So yes, that's how many drivers we have, Michael. And Ryan25 says, let's go Tyson. Tyson's actually having a very, very good race. He's been moving up the grid quite nicely. Finds himself in 14th. There you go. There's a bit of Tyson for you, Ryan, as he's on his way down the hill. So Tyson is 1.3 seconds off the back of Bauman, Benjamin Bauman there. That team, they have been doing that. Who's the GOAT, Ryan? That's what I want to know. Is it Tyson? Or are you just being nice to me today? That's great. I don't want it. Right, anyway, so we're going to look at Tyson trying to close that gap down. And a bit further up the front of the grid. So has Sebastian made that move stick yet? No, he hasn't. It's now 0.3 seconds. So all toss 3.4 back. Tyson is the GOAT. Wow. I'm sure he is very, very quick, but he's 14th. So there's 13 other GOATs in front of him at the moment. At this stage, it's an 8-hour race. Anything can happen as into the pits he comes. He must have heard his name being called, and he gets in the pit. So let's have a look at these two. This battle is still raging as they're coming down the hill yet again. But as I was saying, James has got to jump on around about 12:15, I believe, and then I could go and get some breakfast. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? And maybe a cup of coffee. And once this is, obviously you're all going to watch this until the end, evidently, and then afterwards, come and watch a charity race. 6 hours of Silverstone race for Alex. Very good cause as well. Very, very good cause, which I know a lot of chaps, a lot of our FRL guys are taking part in later on. So it is a Sunday session of simulation racing. Couldn't think of another S. Sorry, guys. Down into Murray's again. As we get onto the start-finish straight. So where else are we close? Where else are we close? So Shintz has got himself 8 seconds. Wow. That's a big old gap, that is. That is a big old gap. Considering the top 4-5 we're running 0.3, 0.4 between them throughout that whole first stint. That is a big old gap. So he's currently closest. Sebastian is closest out of your top runners. And then, well, we've got a nice battle going on here for 12, haven't we? Let's have a look at this one. So 12th place. We don't want that camera angle. You won't be able to see that's my face. So 12th place, this is currently Denis Strelnikov, and he's trying to put some pressure on Matteo Sinotti, who's just this man. So Matteo Sinotti, he's obviously jumped in for his stint, first one of the race for him, currently running in 11th, but he is only 0.3 seconds behind this guy, which is brilliant. So Pedicuri is in 10th in the Aston Martin. You see him running a bit wider. That's definitely allowed him to get a better run up through Quarry. Now then, are we going to get a move through the cutting? I would strongly advise we don't do that, but he is all over the back of him. That's going to allow the concertina effect as you would expect at this part of the track. Here we go, get it across to the left. There's your tree, turning point. Go, 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 boys. As Tradakis in 8th has just gone slow on my screen. I'll check that one out in a moment. I don't want to come off this necessarily just now. So 0.4 between these two, and 0.4 between Apostle and Rittershede as well for 4th and 5th, just to keep you guys abreast of all the different battles that are currently going on. And that wasn't the best line for him through there, and that's going to probably invite a little bit of pressure. So let's see who gets a run, who gets a decent run down the Conrod Straight. Are we going to have any action going on here? Now I do believe that Dennis is probably going to be the one to get a decent tow. Let's see if anything can happen down into the chase. No change in 4th and 5th. That gap has moved from 0.3 to 0.5, by the way, so nothing happening there. This is currently the closest battle on track at the moment in this 8-hour endurance race of Bathurst. And they nicely come through the chase, don't they? No major issues there. If I was your man in front, I'd be just moving to the middle of the track a little bit, because otherwise you're going to invite that on. He's made that move. That was definitely a bit of a Stappen move, wasn't it? In my eyes there. So Dennis moves up the position. Matteo drops down one, so he's now going to try and claw that one back. That, ladies and gents, was for 11th place. And while they're doing that, that's allowing Pellicori in 10th just to sneak away down the road a little bit. You can see that is happening at the moment. 8 minutes, not big distance at Bathurst. Only a mistake on the mountain can cause. Yes, indeed, out there. Right, so he's trying to put the pressure on. He's got a better drive out of there. He has got a better drive out of there. Let's see if he can make this one count. Up through the cut-in. Nice and close. Look how tight they are. And then you can see that gap's increased slightly through the middle part of the mountain there. So maybe Strelnikov has a little bit more confidence in that setup through the middle bit. I mean, we're not talking a massive gap, are we? Not at all. It's still only a second, but that's what counts. Anyway, Benjamin Baumann finds himself in 13th currently. So he's having a pretty steady race. I want another close battle. 22nd, Yelenko's still having this great battle at the moment with David Davida. If you wanted a double David, there you go, you've got one already, 0.1 between them, so they are absolutely side to side as they're coming down towards Murray's. Evidently he's going to be late on the brakes into there, but we've still got just behind them John Beaton in the Aston Martin from Formula Racing League. John is not far behind either, and he's then in an absolutely titanic struggle with Robs as well, so 0.2 between them. So these battles all over the place. Let's see him come through. Come on, change camera angle, please. And there we go. We're on board with Tyson now. Apparently, according to Ryan, is the GOAT. Finds himself in 23rd place, having completed his pit stop, mind you. So we're going to see how he can potentially move back up the grid. So he's looking to challenge. Looking to keep John behind him there. He's definitely looking to challenge Davida in the 214 BMW. This is a good close battle as well. So we have been, you know, we're being a bit spoiled, aren't we, on this Sunday? We've had some really close racing at the front of the field. I've only had 2 or 3 sort of, when I say incidents, we probably had 5 or 6 incidents overall. Maybe only 2 of those. Maybe a couple of those is just in terms of actual contact. The majority of them, I think, are self-inflicted. Panda power. Oh yeah, says Ryan. Yes, we do love the Panda. And it'd be nice if you could actually see it, really, wouldn't it? But I mean, you're gonna have to wait until James is on, because that's evident in the way this is going. But he's only 0.2 behind, really putting the pressure on that BMW in front. And let's see if Davida can stand up to the pressure. And that's what we need to see on that. Look up and down the grid elsewhere in 11th place. So we've got. These guys are still at it, and we've got yellow flag. I'm not going to go into that just yet because we're looking pretty close on the run down towards the chase. He's managed to move himself across onto the left-hand side, which would potentially give him the inside line. We're going to get hard on those brakes, and we're going to have the move done. No, we're not. Davida manages to close the door, and also whilst this is happening, you've got the Aston Martin behind of John. And John is managing to close up on these guys because they're too busy scrapping, aren't they? So the 69 Aston Martin, you can see just there, he's looking to play a bit of catch-up and get involved in this battle, which is a pretty good one, I have to say, at this moment in time. We've got 6 hours, 41 and a half minutes left of this race. 1 stint completed, but we have had people who've made more than 1 stop. So if we look through the grid at the moment, Marrick's done a stop, Fisher's done a stop, Romagnoli's done a stop. That's your top 3 currently. Litchfield's done a stop, Postum's done a stop. Who's done 2 at the moment? So Benjamin Baumann, the 111, have done 2 stops. One probably for damage, and the other one for their actual stop. Probably the same for Filippo in the number 24 as well, as these guys are getting rather close together again, aren't they? So let's get on board with it. Is John closing up? He is, and he's gone wide. David has just thrown it off the track, so he's evidently outbraked himself. Don't need to do a replay on that one because you can see he outbroke himself there just after the cut-in into the climb up the mountain, so he's lost a place. And this is what happens, and so Tyson's moved up. So John's now looking to put some pressure on Tyson. He's out of there, isn't he? Look at him, he's just streamed away straight away. He's got himself 1.5 seconds back, 0.7 between these two, so battle commenced. Come on, John! Let's get close to that battle, says Amir. Indeed, John's doing really well at the moment. How's our other boys doing? So Christian's in 25th place. Florian is in 26th. It's quite a way down the field, that one, to be fair. Jan's running in 27th currently in the 934. As you look at John just trying to get himself in the slipstream down Conrod straight. All he needs to do is just pull him to just get himself a little bit closer, and then he can start to get into the thought process of Davida in the 214 BMW. So we're going to see how this one develops. Sergey Mace has got a yellow on my screen there. So has he had an off? Quite possibly he has had an off. He has. You can see that on the start-finish straight there. So that's unfortunate for him. Let's get on board. Let's get on board now with John. Let's A, get some Aston time. B, get some FRL deep time. And C, well, let's just see a cool battle. Let's do it. Dipolito is in the pits. Burton's still in the pit. So Fulvio Dipolito, that is also a Formula Racing League team. Alan Brown, also in a Formula Racing League team car, finds himself 32nd. Was just on a go slow, but has managed to get back on with it. So John is currently your man, your main man within Formula Racing League. Nice that we've got people. Nice that we've got people out there. So we have seen a mistake or two from the 214 BMW. We have seen that previously. So I think it's just a case of John needs to be a little bit brave. Try and get up onto that rear wing, and you never know, another mistake may follow. But if you have a look at where's the man gone? Where has he gone? He's miles ahead now, isn't he? So Robs has pulled himself 3.3 seconds within about a lap and a half. So it shows the pace difference between him and the 18 and Davida and the 214. And he's now trying hard to catch up with Mace, who's running in 21st in the 949 BMW. Another close battle we've got going on, which we need to have a look at, is these guys yet again. They're still at it, these three. Ryan appreciates that, no doubt. No problem at all. So he'll be on board. So Dennis is currently still in 11th position. He's got Sinotti still behind him, and Pellicori just in front. Now remember, we did see a rather, I would say, well, opportunistic and aggressive move. We called it on the stream. Your man should have been over into the middle of the track more, because he left the door open for that move down into the chase. These three are having a good battle, aren't they? So 10th is 0.3 ahead of our man. Where is he? Sorry, of our man Dennis in 11th, and then Matteo in 12th is only 0.4 behind. So, that was close. Game on, ladies and gents. Here comes another one. He's a bit racy, is Dennis. I've got to say, I like that. We're racing. You want to be racing. But he does look, I think he's liking that BMW most certainly. At the top of the field, just to keep you guys aware, Marek Schintz is still leading this race at the moment with a 10.2 second gap. So he's doing very, very well in his stint, isn't he? Really well. Gerd Fischer, we'll get there. He's running in second place. Romagnoli, who's double stinting at the moment, he's currently running in third. Sebastian is fourth, 3.8 seconds down the road. And then we've got Finn Litterscheid, or Litterscheid, whichever way you want to say that. Finn, apologies, is in the fifth place at the moment. Konstantin Soldatov is in sixth, and that's pretty good. And then Daniel Savini is double stinting as well. In seventh, is now only 1.2 seconds behind him, so we could have another challenge there. This is currently the closest battle on track for you to view at the moment. So let's get on board. Let's enjoy that. Battle and some of these beautiful camera angles we've got here today. In eighth place, we've got Giannis Chadakis, and he is 11 seconds down the road, representing the grid team there. Fuzzy is running in ninth, another 10 seconds down the road, and then we've got Pellicori, as you can see, is right in front of us right now in the 334 BMW. He's 0.4 seconds ahead of the guy we're on board with, Denis Stranikov, in the 149, and then just behind us we've got Matteo Sinotti in 12th position. Again, that gap's moved a little bit now. It's 0.7 place. Bauman's in 13th. Arctic Visi is in 15th position. 14th, sorry. And we've got a move. He's not going to go down the outside into the chase. Surely not. He does go down the outside. Manages to get alongside it. We've got a battle for position here. And Pellicori holds that line very, very, very firmly. And that's also brought... Brilliant. That's also brought Sinotti into play as well. That Porsche jumps out of the way, but I feel that may have hampered Pellicori slightly as we go into Murray's. Both on the brakes. They are giving no quarter here. This is absolute elbows out. You think it was a sprint race, guys, wouldn't you? But anyway, these guys are brilliant. This is exactly what we're here for. So we're back on board with him. He does have company now, though. Look at that. He definitely has some company because obviously these two are battling so much. You're not going to be taking the same speed through the corners. So battle commenced as we go into Quarry. Now we're going to have to run up and down the hill again. So I think that caused Matteo had to back out there, and that's put him under pressure. I did say Dennis is a bit racy. Yeah, Dennis. When Dennis wants a line, it appears Dennis takes a line. Don't know. That is my view on that. Having seen a few moves happen. Where did we get to? We got to Benjamin Bauman is currently in 11th. Let's go and have a look. Let's have a look at some of these other drivers now. What we 15 minutes into my last part of this COMMS stint for everybody, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being involved on the live chat. Any new follows, likes, subs on the Twitch or the YouTube channel, greatly appreciated on this Sunday. So Tommy's running himself in 15th at the moment in the rolling goat. Fabian is now in the car. Okay, Jan, we'll check him out before I leave this one. Blippi is currently in 16th place, close battles. Wow, come on, Johnny Beaton is 0.2 behind David, so let's get on with that one. Oh, that was smooth done, maybe. No, they're alongside each other. Fantastic. Wow, we got there just, didn't we? So John manages to put a move on. Robs is GOAT. Well, I think we've got a lot with Alex K Racing's in saying Robs is GOAT as well. It's the second person who's given a good shout out to Mr. Tyson there. I did say, yeah, he's a good driver. He is a good driver. But before the pit stops, he was 14th, I think. So, yes, no doubt, he's a very good driver. We've got a lot of angry pandas in. Stop it. I like animals. Don't make me be mean to pandas. Okay? As we look at it, John has just managed to get that move done. So well done, John. And I'm thinking, is it me, ladies and gents? Is it me, or is it getting a little bit lighter? I mean, not massively lighter, but it is definitely getting lighter. Anyone know what happened to Keddy? Well, Jan, I know that Keddy was having major issues getting all of his equipment when he decided to start doing a load of updates. So I know he was struggling. That was on his PC and that was on his wheel as well. So maybe by the time pedal issues, there you go. Okay, I was going to say by the time Dippolito pitted, maybe Keddy hadn't managed to get those resolved, which is a real shame. Anyway, so John's doing really well in 22nd at the moment. Then you've got David just behind him in the 2-on-4 in 24th place, and Cristian Romano is still going for it. Look at him. Where are you at, Chris? Where are you doing? You're 0.5. Let's get on board. Let's watch a COMMS guy drive. He's doing very well, got to say. So Christian's running in 25th, Florian's in 26th, then we've got Alexander Paul in 27th, and Fabian. Well, Jan, I know I said I'd have a look at Fabian, but he's just on a go slow, so I'll let that, we've got to have a look at him. In his Porsche, and Fabian did his first ever sort of, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jan, Fabian's first ever endurance race was last Sunday in the 24 hours of Spa we did at Formula Racing League, and he did extremely well. He did extremely well, and if anyone can hear any other noises apart from me, it's probably lunchtime for the children, so ignore that if you can hear it. But there we go, and so Fabian's in 28th place. He's just running quite nicely at the moment. He's going to be getting himself warmed up to this track. Giorgio Bergio finds himself in 29th position as well. So we've got 10 minutes left of this stint, everyone, and then you can have a listen to somebody else. Afternoon, is it a full? No, it's not. It's not, mate. It's we're currently 5:36 in the morning on track, and it is beginning to get lighter. So I think the racing gods were very, very kind in giving me the night shift, but it's all good. We've seen some brilliant, and I mean absolutely brilliant racing so far in the first part of this race. No more so than the consistency and pace of this individual. Marek Schintz has just been on it since managing to break free from that epic 6-car battle we were having at the front. Fisher is still in second place. There we go. Formula Racing in TV. Oh no. Why? What's happened to Formula Racing in TV? What's up, Jan? Rogmanoli is still running in third, which is fantastic. He's double stinting. Very, very good. Sebastian Apostle is using his pace very, very nicely, although we've got a move position there. Has that move done, or is it happening at the moment? We'll wait for the camera to catch up. No, we do have a battle. Let's get on board. Let's see what's going on. So this, again, this is these guys, Sinotti. Wow, so Dennis is still in 11. Then we've got Sinov Matteo, who was obviously trying to fight for that earlier on today. And then Benjamin Bauman, and we're on board with Artak Visic at the moment in the 987 Honda. That was 0.1 seconds. That gap's moved a little bit now, as Dennis has managed to do another move. Let's get a replay. Let's see if it was aggressive. Good. So coming down. Okay. So that was definitely got a better drag out of Forest Elbow there. So Dennis moves himself up to the top 10. This guy has some pace. He's got 3 moves already since he's been out in his stint. So he's evidently knows his way around the racetrack and the car. But Pellicori in the 334 BMW is trying, really trying to get back on level terms, and wants to probably get a move done on that, to be fair. 9, let's see what's happening there. As they're running down Mountain Straight. Let's see. Okay, all good. And you can see his Beamer's got some grunt as well, hasn't he, actually, Dennis? Good battles going on all over the field, ladies and gents. 12.06. Here in the comms room, 5:39 on track. We have had an increase in temperature. Ambient's gone up a degree to 13. Track has gone up a degree to 13 as well. And we've got 23 is stopped, I think just ported back to the pits, which was probably a good idea. That was Lewis Zelch, just had an issue there at some point. Sergey Mace is also coming up on my screen as a go slow. So Burton's in the pits. We've only got 33 in at the moment still, so we have had 4 cars move away. And who is that? So Sergey, yeah, I did say he was going slow, and you can see that Beamer looks like she's definitely been in. Look at it wobbling all over the shop. We've got floppy bonnet syndrome and everything on that. So as the sun is beginning to rise, you can see there's definitely an issue. That Beamer's going to need to come into the pits. And Santoro, quickest lap of the race at 2 minutes flat, 7:15, 2:00.715 is currently your quickest lap of the race. So Salvini's, I did say he was starting to move a little bit from 6th position, and you can see that is the case. So good stuff, good for Keddy. Jan's stint was okay, I reckon. Chris wasn't massively eventful, but he did alright. Look at John. John's up to 21st place now, Formula Racing League. So he's got to be happy with that. And Sergey obviously just coming into the pits. That's elevated John. John's now P20. Christian Romano just behind him in the Mercedes there. They've both moved up a position because of that pit stop. 20th and 21st. Tyson Robbs, who's got a lot of support at the moment in the live chat, has moved up to 19th. So we'll see how far up the field he can progress. Still closest battle is these guys, 0.1. Wow, we can't let this one be, can we? Look at that. So Benjamin Bowman in the 111 BMW is in front. He's in 13th place. We're on board with Artak Visic in the 987 Honda. Sorry, that's not 0.4. No chance. That's way too close. Anyway, he's going to get a good toe out of here. Is Benjamin going to go to the right? He stays right, so he's going to defend. Is the move going to be done before we get there, though? You can see, I'm saying it's definitely getting a little bit lighter. You can see the sky is turning a little bit sort of light greyish now. And these two are scrapping side by side as we go up towards the quarry. Okay, we need to be on board. Although, we've got someone trying to unlap themselves probably there. Fab's in the pits, wheel came off. Oh dear, oh dear. That is terrible, terrible look there. Jan's just letting us know in the live chat that Fabian Kahner, his wheel came off. It literally came off the table, so he's in the pits. Evidently he got some damage from that, so that is unfortunate. But again, Do you know what it is though? It's brilliant experience, isn't it? Because next time Fab does one of these, he's going to make sure that that thing is absolutely nailed to that table. And it's just part of the experience of endurance racing. As Marek is on the go slow, and that's because he's being held up at the moment. As we get back to this battle at the moment, it is getting lighter. It's gone. The sun's going to come on. Brilliant. Look, we can now see some liveries, ladies and gents. We can now start to see some liveries, which is great news. I've gone to... Thank you, anyone who has subbed. That's nice. It says 247. Fabulous. I really appreciate that, everybody. I really do appreciate that. As we go back. Closest battle on track is this one, and this is over 14th position. In your top, nothing's really changed in the top. However, obviously Marek's been held up quite a lot there, because we'll keep our eye on this one until we go, but there's only 4 seconds between P1 and P2 now, so I'm assuming that Marek got massively held up by that, or maybe had a little bit of a wobble himself. Evidently had 10 seconds in the bank to keep that under wraps. Ragbonelli is still in 3rd and Apostle still in 4th, so no change there. Salvini with the quickest lap of the race at the moment, remember, is now 1.7 behind Finn in 5th place. So Daniel Salvini is evidently pushing. Nothing beats a real sim experience than resetting your wheel clamp or moving your pedal still. Yeah, it's just something else to think of, isn't it? Something else to sweat over. As they come over the top of the hill, I want to keep an eye on that delta between 5th and 6th. It's now 1.5 seconds, so there is going to be a challenge there within the next, I would suggest, and I'm not obviously WRS timing or anything like that, I would suggest within the next lap and a half there will be a challenge happening between 5th and 6th place, which we will be certain to keep our eyes out for. 100%. 23rd, Bouquet in a 333 Beamer is 0.4 behind David Davida in his 214 BMW. So unfortunately, Davida is only going backwards at the moment in this race. I don't know if that's a setup thing or whether it's tyre pressures. Things are changing out there, slowly but surely. We'll see. Oh dear, Postel's gone yellow. No, it's just a slight. And that slowed everybody else up. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So, it looks like Seb's had an issue. Sebastian's had an issue somewhere, and that's evidently backed up the field. So you can now see... Wow, we've got a nice little train, haven't we, coming down the hill. Now you can actually read some of these liveries. 1.2 seconds is the gap between Savini and Finn. I did say this was going to happen. We've got 6 hours and 22 minutes left to go of this race. Everything seems to be going okay for everybody at the moment. No major issues as the number 987 Honda comes back into the pits with 16th place. Maybe he was running with some damage there. But can Finn manage to eat that gap back out? Or is this guy... He's flashing away as well, isn't he? So he's really looking to put some pressure on. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Just a quick look in Discord. So they're still all trying to figure out how to fix Kenny's stuff. Well, hopefully it does get fixed. Anyway, back at the front, this battle is developing. So, Marek, again, he's double stinting, so he's doing 2 at the moment. Maybe, so the other thing that you don't know, the other thing is, they might not change tyres. Yeah, so they might be trying to run 2 stints on 1 set of tyres. I mean, I don't see the point in doing that, to be honest. I'd be changing tyres. They've got 50 sets, so you might as well change every time you drop in. But he's got that gap back up to 5.1 again now, so I think he was just being massively held up, and then the other people behind him will also end up being held up when they actually come to get involved with lapping and getting past those cars that are out of position at the moment. So Gert Fischer running in 2nd place in the 52 BMW has 5.1 seconds to make up. to get on the back of Shintz, but has himself a 2-second gap in his pocket back to Romagnoli. So he's comfortable. He is comfortable at the moment. I wouldn't say that he's under massive pressure there. Postel's still running in 4th, and the gap now between Finn Littlechild in 5th and Daniel Savini in 6th place is now only, well, it's just under a second. So I did say this was going to come to a head, and it is going to come to a head. So let the battle commence, ladies and gents. Let it commence, and we do have another close battle back at 18th. So Yelenko back, they're only 0.3 seconds apart. This is going to be a telling one, I think. I think if Savini can get by, I think he will be confident having a run at the BMW. Just going past your screen now, which is Sebastian Postel. I think he'll be confident of being able to do that. Come on, Falcons, says Zezo Fitness. Indeed, I agree. Whoever they are. But great to have you with us. I'd say good morning, but it is now good afternoon, isn't it? What we got? 0.4. Right, I believe this is probably going to be. My last bit of action with you guys is to watch this battle, but what a great battle to watch. So remember, we're on board at the moment with Savini. He's in 6th place. He holds the quickest lap of the race so far, remember, and he has been closing down. He's been making a couple of moves and closing down Finn in his Honda for the last 4 or 5 laps at quite a rate of knots, and I do think that at this stage in the race, whatever changes that they may have made at the pit stop in terms of tyres, or maybe setup changes, maybe camber, who knows, maybe a bit more wing, a bit less wing, again, a million things they can look at, is certainly working well for them, as Fisher, also in 2nd place, is now only 1.2 ahead of Romagnoli, so he seems to be on a bit of a move as well. On the way down into the chase, you can definitely see that the sky is changing. We're not pitch black anymore. Smiley says, been a pleasure, Coops. Indeed it has, Chris. Really, really happy to be involved as always, and the 181 has stopped again on the way. That is literally at the first part coming down the mountain. So let's hope these guys don't need to collect anybody. 0.4 is your gap. It's now only a second between 2nd and 3rd as well, and I'll keep my eye on that as that gap comes down all the while. That's massively helping Merrick Shintz in 1st place, because he's now got 6.4 seconds back. So I'm just awaiting Mr. James Williams to come and join us shortly. Through Quarry. Wow. Yeah, it's not going to happen in the cutting, but again, just being there has obviously put them both off their line, so they're both. Yeah, I know, I wanted to see the beautiful sunrise. You can actually see the clouds there, looking slightly discoloured as well. A little bit of orange warmth coming onto those clouds. So I really wanted to see the sunrise. I'm sure I will see it, but I probably won't be here to talk about it. It is 5:50 in the morning on track. So I reckon another 10 minutes and we'll have a little bit of sun peeking through. You lucky, lucky people. I am ready for you, Mr. Williams. Yes, indeed. Come and join me, my friend. We'll see. James will jump in a minute, and he'll probably try and scare me. That's what he likes to do when he comes to join me in the comms box. He just likes to throw a boo in there, but he'll certainly joining at the right time in terms of some decent battles. So he
Hello.
Scared me. Sorry. Joking.
It's all right. How are you?
I'm good. We're watching some pretty epic stuff at the moment.
I know.
You're in a good place to take over.
Take my eyes off it. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, you're in a good. You're in for some good racing, mate. Good racing as always. What have you been doing in the background then?
I'm recovering, which is good. I've managed to have some breakfast, reviewing instance, making sure everything's running smoothly, and getting extremely nervous waiting for this.
Good. Well, you'll be pleased to know that everybody in the live chat's been very friendly so far today, and there's a lot of support out there for Tyson Robbs in the Mad Panda. There's a lot of support out there for him. Jan's doing his thing. They're all doing their thing. It's all good. But I
Yeah.
wanted to see a sunrise. I wanted to see a sunrise, James.
You can carry on if you want to.
No, mate, I can't. I can't. I've now got to go and prepare for 7 hours worth of another thing. You know that.
Yes, I do.
Which is a shame. It is a shame. It's a shame I can't split myself in half, but that wouldn't be good. So, well, listen, ladies and gents, thank you very much for having me. I'm sure this is going to be totally awesome. What I'm going to try and do, James, later is actually have a break. I'm going to try and do it so I can have a break from the other one, and then maybe then I'll just drop in and say hello and just see how it's going, but not take over from anything. See what I'm saying? Because I want to keep an eye on it, yeah. But guys, I'll leave you all in the very, very capable hands of our fully recovered, fully fed, fully coffeed the pink pig that is James, and he's going to take you through the next couple of hours of what is going to be awesome racing. So thanks for everyone for getting involved, and good luck. Right, I'm going to leave you, James.
Thank you very much, as always, Cooper. Enjoy, and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
See you later.